Getting nasty on a Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Got a lot to get into today. We're going to talk a lot about the Blues. Emphasis on Jordan Binnington, who's been sensational.
And why is that?
Because he's been sensational thus far in the early going. We're going to talk, of course, about the injuries impacting this team. Jamie's got some thoughts on that, and as well as the power play. But again, we're going to talk about Jordan Binnington a lot throughout the course of the show. We'll update you on our NFL Pick'em Challenge.
We will.
We've got intrigue for tonight, just not against the Rizzuto show. But again, we'll update you on that. Prophecies, and, well, sounded good at the time. Narrative Reality will play. Sports Six Pack in the 4 o'clock hour. As always, you can reach out today via the Air Comfort Service text line. If you want to send us a text, it's 314-399-9646. If you want to get in a mic drop, you can use the free 101 ESPN app. Mic drop down there at the bottom. Leave us a mic drop, yell at us, or say, hey, yeah, I agree with some of your takes. Either way, they're accepted. Air Comfort's, the Airlines team YouTube channels at 101 ESPN SDL if you want to reach out. Marsh, last week we opened the show, and I asked you guys how the weekend was, and I could sense that maybe you guys had a rough one. This weekend, though, I feel like you had just an absolutely spectacular weekend.
Yeah, just a great weekend.
Just the vibe I'm getting from
absolutely. You know, the personal side of things, great. And then from a sports side, it was just fantastic. You know, I really think that last week has made me a better person.
Oh, wow.
You know, I get the press conference, a lot of animosity throughout the room. Of course, you know, we have Thursday, we go to Cyberg's. Mm-hmm. It just kicked off the week into what was a fantastic week for not only myself, but for this team, the Fast Lane.
Wow.
Yeah.
He went right for the team on that one.
He did.
Like it.
Yeah.
Well, Marshy put 10 up on the board in the NFL Pick'em Challenge. His Vikings won. My Falcons squandered one. Mm-hmm. Sorry, not the Falcons. Desmond Ridder and Arthur Smith lost on Sunday to Washington. Mm-hmm. So now you're, what, a game back?
I'm a game back
in the
right
Waffle
now,
House
yeah.
Challenge?
For sure.
I'm feeling a little bit more nervous these days. Jamie?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, your Vikings.
Well, did you watch the game?
I did watch the game, and I saw a team that was still in trouble against whoever the Bears quarterback was that decided to enter the game. I think they pulled somebody out of the stands and say, hey, go get him, kid.
I think so, yeah.
He almost did, though. He almost got the Vikings in the end.
The EQB.
Yeah, the emergency quarterback. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jamie, I know you had a great Saturday. You called your first home game of the season for Bally Sports Midwest, and the Blues the Blues showed out again. They fell behind to the Kraken 1-0, and then rallied, got a goal, and then won in the shootout.
That was a great night, man. It was packed. I know that all the festivities that went down at Union Station were successful. Sold out crowd. They were energetic. The boys were going. It was for a 1-1 game, there was action at both ends. Mm-hmm. Both goalies made some big saves. Jordan Binnington was stellar. And for me, just getting my first go-round there as full-time gig, it was a lot of fun. Family went. Everybody went. It was absolutely... It was the circus was there. We had Ashley and her boys, and then all of my kids and their significant others. So it was a herd of 10 up in the alumni suite. So Bruce Affleck, thank you. Big shout out to him and PJ for helping me get those tickets. But we had a good time. And then we managed to get the whole crew back together on Sunday. The little pumpkin patch.
Really?
Yeah, we went out to Dick Herber's in O'Fallon, Missouri. Uh-huh. And they've got like a big corn maze. They've got all sorts of animals running around everywhere. You feed the animals. There's goats, there's chickens, there's cats, and a bunch of stuff going on. So we did that about midway through the day. And then after that, I always tell the family after that, once we're done, I go, okay, everybody can roam about the cabin freely now.
Yeah.
Like, go do what you got to do, whatever. Your obligation to this commitment is now fulfilled.
Is now fulfilled.
But they were great. It was awesome. It was a really great weekend.
That's awesome.
Hey, wait, whoa. No, you're not moving the feet. No.
Big moment this weekend for the Stalter family.
Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah.
For those who don't know, Anthony coaches flag football now for his son, Killian.
Yes.
He is
5. Yeah,
5 years old. So Anthony's been trying to get the pistol offense going with this team.
Yep.
nonetheless, this is the first time all of these kids have ever played football. But, Anthony, I need you to describe a massive moment for Killian.
Yeah. Okay. So I appreciate you setting me up here. Yeah. So I do the kindergarten and pre-K like group for out in Lindbergh, and there's 16 kids, and like you said, Jamie, they're not they haven't played football before, so got a lot of help from there's a lot of dads and moms that have helped out, which has been fantastic. These kids, I'm getting to know them throughout the course of the couple of weeks here, and they're all great kids. They all try hard. You gotta talk to them constantly. It's just like any other kid, right? Like stand here. So it winds up being kind of a free-for-all, and we had our second game on Saturday. These kids, because we didn't get enough sign-ups to have a full league where you have like 4 teams. We only had 16. They usually want about 10 to 11 on each team. So they combined the two. So I'm coaching both teams.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we have the Steelers, we have the Cowboys. I split them up.
Of course you do.
I'm like, okay, let's go. But they scrimmage against each other every week. But they do it at Lindbergh High School, and they cut the fields into quarters, and it's a lot of fun. Lindbergh does a nice job with it. So the first game was last Saturday. Not this past Saturday, but the first Saturday in October. And it was the first time I coached flag, and it's the first time I coached this league. So my head was kind of spinning. But I told Kristen a couple of hours after the game, I'm like, you know what? I was so concerned with making sure that everybody got a chance to run the ball. I didn't get Killian a run. Not one.
Wow.
Not one run.
That's pretty hardcore.
Did you call the hoop-de-hoop?
I call the hoop-de-hoop.
Or what?
That's a different one.
Yeah, that's a different play. That's a sneak play.
It
Yeah.
sure
Gotcha.
is.
Yeah. I think
Catch you off guard sometimes.
I think what you're thinking of is the oop-de-oop.
The oop-de-oop.
Yeah.
That's correct.
But anyways, so this week I was hell-bent on getting him at least one crack, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of this, I mean, you're not really throwing it. You just turn around and hand it off. Well, first play, I'm like, let's go.
Get it out of the way, right?
I'm gonna make sure we get him one run, so I don't forget about the poor kid. So I had him line up in the back. I told whoever's playing quarterback, turn around, hand the ball off to Killian. Well, something happened with the snap, right? And they're little, so a lot of times the snap goes on the ground. Quarterback kind of picks it up, but he falls on it. Then he turns around and gives it to Killian. Well, at that point, like the defense was already right there, right
converging on the
and I'm
fumble.
like, son of a... Killian stops, sees everybody around him, fakes left, goes around everybody, hits the Jets, and goes 40 yards to the house for a touchdown on the first play. And I'm like running down the field, proud papa on this one. So I was thrilled, or I was jacked out of my mind that he scored. And we had a great time. A lot of kids got a chance to run and score and all that. But here's the best part. So Kristen, my wife, and I are talking to Killian throughout the weekend. Each Monday, when the kids go back to school, they write like in their journals. Okay,
yeah, what you did on the weekend.
Yeah, what did you do on the weekends? A lot of times, they'll do a little picture, right? So Kristen was saying last night to Killian, hey, you have to write about your big touchdown, right? It's first touchdown, second flag football game, and you scored on the first play. So I checked the little app. I got a little notification that Killian wrote about his weekend. So I'm like, all right, let's see what it is. And I'm looking at this picture, and I'm like, I guess that could be too. I look at the description. It says, I am Batman. The kid wrote, I am Batman.
Yeah.
I said, there you go.
He fits in perfect. He fits in perfect. Won't be long till he's right here in the fast lane with us.
I am Batman. Nothing about football, nothing about the touchdown.
Well, maybe that's what he meant, though. Like,
I'm Batman. I score.
You can't stop me.
I was dying laughing.
That's what I would like to see out of it. Yeah. It's my take.
Just a reminder that when you're 5, there's bigger priorities, including being a superhero.
Hey.
So
he took it to the house, baby.
40 yards, man.
Awesome.
I was happy for him. All right, it's a fast lane on 101 ESPN 211. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex. Excuse me, I'm choked up. That he's Batman. My son is Batman. All right, Blues Bucket. Let's start off with Binnington. And let's start off with a couple of things that we're seeing in front of Binnington that have proved to be huge in the early going for the Blues. That's next on 101 ESPN.
middle, Oleksiak to Cartier, and a shot on. What a save, Binnington. Cartier moved in alone, and Binnington got a blocker running. Burakovsky bringing it in on Hayes. Rugen saw it as well. Burakovsky drives the goal. Centers, put it on. He hit the post. Binnington might have had a piece of it. Everly will be the shooter. Brings it in on Binnington. Cuts it into the middle. Everly waits, shoots, save Binnington. Bring out the Zamboni. It's a home opener win for the St. Louis Blues, who picked up 3 out of 4 points on the first 2 games of the year. 2-1 the final tonight.
Chris Gerber, the voice of the Blues for 101 ESPN on the Blues Radio Network, on the call on Saturday. Jordan Binnington earned a shootout win over the Seattle Kraken in that home opener. Binnington saved 30 of 31 shots in that 2-1 victory. Perfect over 3 shootout rounds to earn the extra point, made one sensational save after another, and is 1-0-1 now on the season. And thus far, he has faced 65 shots in 2 starts and has saved 63 of those shots. Binnington has been sensational, to say the least.
Yeah, he's been the backbone. He really has been. I mean, it's been unbelievable to watch the way he's played. And I know for a fact, and he's been very humble about it, but I know for a fact he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Who wouldn't be? You know, like last year you have a down season as a team. I personally don't believe Jordan Binnington had that much of a down season, but the numbers bear out that it wasn't a great year. And all of a sudden people are just jumping off the boat left and right because, you know, Binnington, he's no good. He can't play. We need a goalie. So, yeah, I would be a little bit ticked off, too, if I was that player. But he's carrying himself with class, and you know, like I said, he's been very humble about all of this, but he's been amazing. Like, he's really good right now, to where there's not ever an opportunity where I feel like the opposing team's got an easy goal.
Yeah.
And now the Blues are doing a good job, too, so there's a lot of things that go hand in hand here. It's not like the floodgates have just been opened, and it's like, well, Jordan Binnington's just going to have to save 50, 55 shots for us, and that's it. You know, we're not doing anything to help that. No, the team's doing a lot better job defensively. They are shutting down the middle of the ice a lot better than they were last year. They are denying the second and third opportunities. So those easy rebound goals or those tap-ins haven't been available yet. And the one thing that really caught my eye in doing both of these games was the block shots. So Craig Berube talked about how the team's going to have to sacrifice in block shots. Against Dallas, they had 18 blocks, and against Seattle, it's 17 blocks. That's nice. 35 shots. So whether those shots hit the net or not, let's just say they do. That's 35 shots that your goaltender hasn't had to save. Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
And for as good as Binnington has been, odds are some of those are getting through.
Yeah, I mean, just numbers, right? You throw numbers at anything, at some point, the dam's going to break. And so, but for me, it's been an overall mentality by the team to clog up the middle of the defensive zone, block shots, and then Jordan Binnington has stood on his head at various times. And a couple things stand out for me with this. One, I was telling you guys in the office, he had that massive save in the shootout where he goes out with the poke check. Well, for me, when I look at that poke check was purposeful. He put the stick out there, making the player pull the puck to his backhand. And as soon as he made him pull the puck to his backhand, he knew there's only one place he can go, is over backside here, and he drove over, put the pad down, and made the save. Mm-hmm. That's high-level stuff. When the goalie is predicting or forcing you into a spot to where they want you to go, and then they're just waiting for you, like that means he's in the zone. He is dialed in. So that's always something that you pick up little things, and you look at that, and you go, okay, that's some high-level stuff right there. The other part of it that I want to kind of get into a little bit is blocking shots. And it sounds like, whatever. It's a frame of mind. Mm-hmm. I've said this before, and I'm probably going to repeat myself a little bit, but bear with me. Like, blocking shots isn't necessarily a talent. There is talent to it. Like, you can do it the right way, or you can do it the wrong way. The willingness to get in front of a puck that's being shot anywhere from 85 to 100 miles an hour, that's the mental barrier right there. Like, imagine if I said, hey, Anthony, I'm going to shoot a puck at you right now. I want you to make sure it hits you. Mm-hmm. What?
Even if I'm willing, as that thing is barreling toward me, I might think otherwise. I might get out of the way in the last second.
It causes
if I could.
a little bit of a dilemma, right?
Yeah.
You're like, holy crap. And you're getting guys now who are dropping in front of multiple shots a game. And having done this job, been a guy that was expected to block shots out there, it hurts every single time. You never catch it clean into an area where you've got full protection. You might get a piece of it where it doesn't hurt so much, but most of the time when you see that thing ringing off of guys, like there's ice packs involved, following the period, following the game. And then to watch guys drop down 2 and 3 and 4 times, have 5, 6, 7 block shots in a game, like that's what it's all about. So the frame of mind by the players to willingly get in front of these shots is one thing, but now seeing the team have success, it's created that culture that we're all in this together. Like, it's just a different vibe when you're watching guys sacrifice of themselves for the betterment of the team. And so that's why, we talk about Jordan Binnington, we talk about the team defense, but to me, it's the will to not be scored on right now that's making a big difference.
It's about effort.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's about effort. And I don't care what sport it is when it comes to defense. It's about effort. It's about commitment. It's about being relentless. It's not necessarily about, discipline as much as it's just you have to put in the effort and you have to have that intensity too. Think about basketball. Everybody wants to score, but when you get on that side and you're trying to not be on a poster, it's about effort, intensity, trying to stay in front of somebody for a long time. Same with hockey, football. A lot of times you're doing the dirty stuff on defense. You have to want it. You have to put it in. So when it comes to hockey, and you've taught me this a while now, a lot of times you see it in postseason play where guys are blocking shots and you get goal scorers that are blocking shots. If the Blues are committed to this and you have a red-hot goaltender behind you, man, sky's the limit on that.
It is. And listen, it's going to get even cleaner out there for the Blues. And I know they're not scoring a lot of goals right now. There's a couple of reasons for that. You've played a couple of really good teams that are solid defensively, that are very fast, that also have good goaltending. That'll always play a factor in how that rolls. And they're still figuring out some of their lines and whatnot. Doesn't matter. To me, this is the identity of the team this year. We're going to drag this out into the streets, and we're not going to give up a ton offensively. We may not blow the doors off of you offensively, but whoever wants it more is going to win, and we're willing and we're happy to be playing in 1-goal games. I think that's the biggest thing. This team with that mindset of always being in the game, you end up winning games. That's how you do it. Like both of these games have been drugged to a shootout. But so what? Mm-hmm. You were in the game, the entire game. There wasn't one point in either game where you felt like, wow, this is it. Like, they're done.
Yeah.
There's momentum swings for sure. But right now, this team is working extremely hard. We'll get into this a little bit later. I know that Pavel Buchnevich is out for a little bit. Injury the other night. He felt kind of awkward into the boards. Doesn't look like it's terribly serious, but he is a big driving factor for this team on the offensive side.
You just mentioned the offense being stagnant. He's one of your key contributors there.
He should be, yeah. He should be for sure. So we'll see how that works out. But just the overall feel of this locker room and this team right now is that they know who they are, they know what they are as a team, and they know what kind of effort it's going to take night in and night out if they want to keep winning.
Yeah, they know what to fall back on. That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Blues off for the next couple of nights until they take on the Coyotes, and we'll have all the coverage for you right here on 101 ESPN. NFL Pick'em Challenge. We have intrigue for tonight's game, but not against the Rizzuto Show. We'll tell you what the latest is with our NFL Pick'em Challenge and get into some of the highlights from yesterday. Boy, it was a wild Sunday. A lot of top teams falling. What does it mean? That's next on 101 ESPN. Got my workout in at the Missouri Athletic Club today. I always go to the West Clubhouse to get the workout in, but when I was walking out, I talked about a couple of weeks ago, or last week, in fact, talking about some of the events that they have coming up. And I love that this is Halloween. They always, or October, and of course means Halloween. And when you think about getting the family involved, you want to make sure that you got safe places to take the kids for trick-or-treating. And they've got their trunk-or-treating opportunity, their event coming up, and I always love it. I love the way that the Missouri Athletic Club, sure, there's individual clubs that you can join, or if you're like me, you get the workout in. A lot of times I'll use their business center to kind of prep for the show. But when you're somebody that's got, little ones like I do, there's always opportunities where they've got events going on each and every month that gets the family involved too. It's one of the great aspects of the Missouri Athletic Club. It's Miami C.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues picked up their first win of the season in their home opener on Saturday, a 2-1 victory in a shootout. They'll take on the Arizona Coyotes this upcoming Thursday. Pregame for that one starts at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7, and you can listen right here on 101 ESPN. It was a crazy week 6 in the NFL, and it will come to a close tonight with Monday Night Football as the Cowboys take on the Chargers. 6:30 pregame show right here on 101 ESPN. We are going to dive into week 6 coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Fast Lane Football Pick'em Challenge on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light.
Boy, you sure know how to pick 'em.
Couple of blowouts yesterday, including the Jaguars over the Colts, the Dolphins over the Panthers, Rams over the Cardinals, and the Fast Lane over the Rizzuto Show.
Oh!
Absolutely hammered them.
Yeah, we did.
We won by 7. Now tonight, they're all on the Cowboys. Most of us are on the Chargers. So they can make things a little closer tonight, but it doesn't matter. We've won the week. The math checks out. So we are now up 4-2 on the Rizzuto Show. Nice week by all of us, but we're led by Jamie Rivers, who continues to be the buzzsaw that this team relies upon. Jamie with 11 points yesterday in the Pick'em Challenge. We had Kerry Davis with 10, Brad Thompson with 10, Andrew Marsh with 10, and I've got 9. So the intrigue is all about tonight in our team, not against the Rizzuto Show.
Yeah.
I'm the only one on our team with the Cowboys. Marsh has the Chargers, Kerry has the Chargers, BT has the Chargers. Jamie doesn't have to worry about the punishment. He led us all. So he's on the Chargers, but it doesn't matter in terms of a punishment.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen. If the Cowboys lose, I get shot tomorrow.
Yeah.
I take one shot. Those always feel a lot better when you win the week.
That's true.
If the Chargers lose, well, we've got a
Tie.
4-way tie between me, Marsh, BT, and Kerry, and then it would come down to the tiebreaker system. That's all predicated by
the app does
the
it
score,
somehow.
yeah,
Some way. It'll
the
have you
final
guys
score and all
ranked tomorrow.
Yes. So we'll find out. Cowboys win. We've got intrigue from that standpoint. All right. You had the 49ers lose to the Browns yesterday, 19-17, when Moody missed the field goal late. You had the Eagles losing to the Jets 20-14. And you had the Bills nearly losing to the Giants.
Yeah, they tried.
They tried desperately to lose that one.
Yep.
Giants had it at the goal line, following a flag. Opportunity to win it in Buffalo. And Tyrod Taylor, who played pretty well. All things considered, that guy played his rear end off last night in Buffalo, a place that he used to play. But his pass fell incomplete, and the Bills hung on 14-9. If you're a Bills fan, I don't know how you feel good today, though. I mean, you won. It's hard to win in the NFL.
Well, that was a flag. That final play was a flag.
Probably should have been.
That one was more of a flag than the
previous
first one.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, can you come up with something, though, if you're the Giants?
Hey, at least they got the play off at the goal line.
That's very true, unlike some of these teams.
Well, they didn't do it in the first half.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did in the first half. Oregon did the same thing on Saturday. I told you guys in the office, red zone football yesterday was set back about 20 years. Just an awful display in the red zone yesterday. Atlanta, awful in the red zone. Seattle, an absolute dumpster fire disaster.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
In the red zone. Seattle and Atlanta in their respective games set up shop inside their opponent's red zone all game and came up with 13 points if you're Seattle and 16 if you're Atlanta. Just absolutely pathetic. The Patriots moved the ball pretty well yesterday until they got closer to the end zone and then Mac Jones forgot, how to play football. Offensively, that was my biggest takeaway. Yeah, the Eagles lost, and yeah, the 49ers lost. And we can get into those two games respectively. But the manner in which offenses right now are sputtering is pretty staggering, including by the defending champions, the Chiefs, who could only muster 19 points against Denver's defense on Thursday. But that was my big takeaway yesterday.
Yeah, me too. Not exactly that, but my takeaway was similar to what you're saying is how do these teams, they move the ball down the field so well, and then it's like they just hit a brick wall. Mm-hmm. They get into that red zone, and it's literally like they don't have a plan.
Yeah.
It's like they practiced all week for everywhere on the field except for 10, 15 yards in.
Right.
And they get there, and it's like, okay, we don't have a play here. So you're the rock. You're the paperclip.
Yep.
It's so disorganized. You get into the red zone, it should be automatic. Mm-hmm. Like your offense, it should be like, okay, we know exactly what we're doing. I saw Geno Smith take 2 sacks. It's a couple things, Anthony. One, you should be getting into the end zone there. You had a couple tries at it. 2, if you feel the heat coming, you get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
You can't take a sack when you start like 2nd and goal. You can't take a sack.
Yeah, they were going backwards.
They're going the wrong way.
I mean, as soon as they got into Cincinnati territory, they just started to immediately go backwards. And, they'd be better off kicking the field goal every time they got inside the 30.
But I just don't understand. So is it the plays or is it the quarterbacks? Because like in that situation, like, okay, the play didn't work. Mm-hmm. You didn't have a guy open. It didn't. Whatever it is, it didn't work for you. You can't take the sack. You can't have the double whammy of a bad play and a bad decision.
Yeah, it's a culmination of things, right? Because Cincinnati deserves credit, too. Cincinnati had the pass rush that got after Geno Smith and made him feel uncomfortable. Clearly, there was a couple of options. At least his first option was taken away by Cincinnati's defense. So you got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, the defense is paid to make plays, too. But when it comes to, like, the red zone offense, the number one thing that I saw, and this was good teams, bad teams, all across, almost every play was, like, one option. And that was it. Quarterback looks, if he got the ball off, he'd throw it, and a lot of times it's contested. I saw that in the Atlanta game all game. Desmond Ridder back, immediately gets the ball out of his hands, and if he's not throwing right between the numbers to a Washington player, the ball was easily knocked down.
He had a couple of really good passes to Washington
players. He hit 3 Washington players square in the numbers, as if the play was designed to go to the defender. Drop back right to the defender. But a lot of it was like one option. One option. Seattle, one option. You got Tyler Lockett. You got DK Metcalf. You've got, I don't know why you're not running the ball more. Kenneth Walker is fantastic. Why don't you, if you're uncomfortable, run the ball. The Giants, couple of cracks at the end zone last night. One option on a play. Tyrod Taylor's going to one guy and one guy only on both of those throws. I understand you don't have a lot of time to sit back there and go through your progressions. I get that. But there's no creativity. It's like, this is the play. It's to Darren Waller. Come down one, Darren. And Tyrod Taylor put it up high. If you're going back of the end zone, it's got to be high. If you're going, right across the end zone there, short of the end zone line, it's got to be low. Why? Because you don't want that ball batted up.
Yeah.
If it's a little high and it's batted up, plenty of space for the defense to make a play. Back of the end zone, you go high. You don't want to go low because then obviously you get batted down or intercepted. He threw a decent ball, but the thing that I noticed was like Darren Waller, only option.
Well, on that play, and credit to the Bills defense, the defenders, I think the play was designed for the defenders to essentially split up and end up, being confused on that play. I believe, I can't remember who it was. Granted, that was a holding call. But he ended up staying with Waller instead of running outside to whoever the wide receiver was. So that was a good heads-up play by the Bills' defense, and I think that's why, because they just kept throwing to Darren Waller, and they did it the play before. I'm surprised they didn't give it to Saquon Barkley. Final play of the game, give it to the guy who's the best player on the field.
Like they did before the first half?
Well, they didn't get the playoff. But yes.
You know what I mean? But he got stuffed.
For sure.
He got stuff when they gave him the ball.
Yes.
I mean, in that spot, spike the ball, take the field goal.
But he's your best player.
Yeah.
And you would like to think that he can get in the end zone.
Well, why not play? Here's my, I always bitch about the goal line fade. I hate it. I hate it because it is a play designed really, to get height over a corner. But that corner is always going to be in position. I think it's the dumbest play. You spend so much time trying to get the defense out of position to get big yards or touchdowns that you go to the goal line and you run a fade when the defense is in position. The number one thing to get a defense out of position is what? Play action. So if you even fake one a Saquon there, collapse those linebackers, then throw over the top, great. But this is what I'm talking about. There's no creativity. And yesterday, I mean, guys, you're looking at some of these scores. 19-13 Vikings-Bears. 24-16 Falcons-Commanders. 24-16, same score out in London with the Ravens and the Titans. 19-8 Chiefs. 17-13 Bengals and Seahawks. 20-13 Texans-Saints. I can go on. Lions 20-6 over the Bucks. The offense is nasty right now in football, and I don't think it's just because the defense is caught up.
My biggest takeaway from this week is, and this sort of plays into what you're saying about these teams not being able to execute offensively, is there really one truly great team right now in the NFL? I know the 49ers were that team. You could argue that the Miami Dolphins are that team too, but now the 49ers are banged up, right? So who knows what they're going to be moving forward. Is there really one true great team in the NFL right now, or is it just a bunch of okay teams and a few good teams?
Well, I think what you're talking, it's a sliding scale right now. When healthy, the 49ers are a truly great team. When healthy, the Eagles are a truly great team. I think when you're talking about losing Christian McCaffrey, you're talking about losing Deebo Samuel. When you're talking about losing Lane Johnson, I mean, the Eagles have not fared well throughout his career when Lane Johnson doesn't play. So if those guys are out for a significant period of time, it becomes a sliding scale. I think the 49ers could go from great to beatable. Still good, but beatable without some of those guys.
What did you think of Brock Purdy on that final drive? Because last week we talked about him being an elite quarterback and being compared to being just a system quarterback. I thought he did a good job in that final drive, and he put his team in position to win the game. Unfortunately, the kicker did not come through.
Moody makes that kick. We're really not talking. We're going like this. Whew, wow. Boy, Browns gave the 49ers a scare.
Yeah.
Still 6-0. So I think Brock Purdy he did what he was supposed to.
He did exactly what he's supposed to do.
And that Browns defense, the number one way to slow down that outside zone run, wide 9. You kick your defensive tackles out. That stops a lot of those running lanes, and that's what the Browns did. Jim Schwartz has one of the best defenses in the league. Now you got to have guys like Myles Garrett to play that system.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't hurt.
They kick those D-ends out. They slow down that zone run, and now it becomes a game of, can Brock Purdy stay in there and play pitch and catch? So, and the weather didn't help them either. But credit the Browns, man. They came up to play. You won yesterday with your backup quarterback, who tried to give him the game.
He did. He really
tried
did.
hard.
Wow.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Marsh sent us a note about Aaron Nola and the Phillies and why contract negotiations have reportedly broken down between Nola and the Phillies. And when I looked at it in regards to the Cardinals and their interest in Aaron Nola, I actually paused. I'll tell you why. Next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, are you using ED meds currently? Well, you're probably paying too much for them, unless you're headed over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. You guys know what I'm talking about, too. That little blue pill is probably costing you a lot of money. Stop it. Get over to the medicine shop. They've got you all taken care of because they're your destination for cheap ED meds. They've got a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, of course. And also, they have a full pharmacy. over there. So you just get in there if you have any questions regarding, allergies, or it's cold and flu season. If you're not sure what to take, they're going to help you out. It's not a chain, and the customer service is just outstanding. The representatives always want to make sure that you're taken care of properly. And they also offer free, discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace of any medicines that you need on a regular basis. I take full advantage of that service. It's awesome. Busy schedules, whatever it is you got going on, you don't have to worry about getting into the pharmacy to get your medicine. Medicine Shop brings it to you. So please, again, get in there, say hi to everybody for me. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. If not, you can visit them online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
You have to listen to the start of the show to get that reference. Of course, our podcast will be available immediately following the Fast Lane, all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. So Marsh sent Jamie and I this nugget from Bob Nightingale earlier today. And when I read it, I paused and I go, okay, I had more questions than
Why,
thoughts.
Anthony? What was your first question?
Okay, so let me read it and then I'll give you my question.
Oh, was it what you're reading or who wrote it?
Bobby Nightingale, Bobby Bookie's just fine. Okay, he's just fine.
Is he?
Philadelphia Phillies starter Aaron Nola writes Bob Nightingale of USA Today, and the Phillies never came close to reaching a contract extension last winter, and it's unknown whether they can bridge the gap now. So you read that and you're like, okay, here we go. He's done. He's done in the city of brotherly love. Come on to St. Louis, kid.
There.
Come on down. Mm-hmm. You'll love the toasted Ravs. Then Nightingale writes, Jamie, Nola was seeking an 8-year contract in excess of $200 million, while the Phillies were hoping to sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal. My first thought was, oh, so the Phillies, who know him well, who likely want to bring him back, so we're not going 8 years. I don't blame him, by the way. I don't blame him. But they want to go 4 or 5 years, and they would have signed him had they not clearly dug in their heels on this. If this information is true, Jamie, the question I have is, well, what do the Phillies know that the Cardinals should be more aware of? Like Wilson Contreras, right? The Wilson Contreras. What do the Cubs know that the Cardinals should be aware of?
Okay, I think it's a little different than that. I understand.
What do the Phillies know that the Cardinals should be aware of?
I don't think it's anything. Okay, Anthony? I understand what your thought process is, and when I first went through that and evaluated the whole situation, I thought very much like you. But then I was like, wait a minute. How old is he? He's 30 years old. So realistically, it'd be a really stupid business decision to give him 8 years. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the problem. I think the Phillies are looking at it going, maybe they've seen a little decrease recently of, his velocity, the fastball, whatever. Not enough to be like, hey, we're really worried. But 5 years from now, we'll be worried. So that's why it's a 4 or 5 year deal. And if you go across Major League Baseball, that's kind of the threshold right now. 34, 35, and then it's like, phew. Guys are, not every pitcher, because you can cherry pick the ones like, well, look at Verlander. Yeah, I understand.
He lost last night, Jamie. That guy stinks.
Pick another 20 guys that are in that bucket and watch their descent, basically. So I think it's a smart business move by the Phillies. And I wouldn't be surprised if they still get a deal done. Be a 5 year deal, and they'll give him more money. Because I don't think the Phillies don't care about the money. Their owner flat out doesn't care. Spend stupid money. I don't care. Take it.
Take my money.
But I don't think they want to be married to the contract for 8 years to where now they can't bring in another player or like whatever it is. Just business-wise, I feel like it makes sense to not give them the 8 years. So that's where I go with it.
Yeah. I don't think the Cardinals should go 8 years.
I wouldn't go 8 years, no.
But what have we often talked about with these free agents? You're going to have to sweeten the pot somehow. How do you get Aaron Nola to sign with you? Maybe you don't go 8. Maybe you go 6.
If he
says 7 and it's done. Is that smart? I know they need an ace, but...
The problem then is then the Phillies can come swooping in and go, oh, they went 6? Well, we'll match the 6.
Right. So you have to... This is part of the pitfalls here.
Woof. Yeah.
You're going to have to get uncomfortable not only from a money standpoint, but from a term standpoint. And the Cardinals have been reluctant to hand out those long-term deals. I think that's smart, too, by the way. Now, for like Bryce Harper, given his age and, all that, maybe not. But when it comes to a 30-year-old, 31-year-old, anybody in their early 30s, it's smart not to hand out 8-year deals.
But then the Cardinals will never land that big fish.
Okay, exactly.
It'll never happen because everybody else is willing to do it.
Right.
And this is where the method of operation for the Cardinals has to change. You have to be willing to take the loss on the back end of the deal. Mm-hmm. You have to be. This is where you're going to have to sacrifice money that is going to be bad money at the end of this deal. You're going to have to look at that contract and go, I know that years 6, 7, and 8 are not going to be good, but it's 1 through 5 that I need. The Cardinals are going to have to change their frame mind.
Would Jamie Rivers do that? Would Jamie Rivers, the business owner, sacrifice 3 years And it might be more. It might be 4 years.
Yeah.
It might be half the contract. In order to potentially maybe win up front.
So, on a regular basis, no. After what I saw last year, yes. Knowing the market, first of all, it's like knowing your consumer, right? So knowing the market, knowing you put out a defective model the year before.
Sure.
For keeping this real business like. And you know that people bought that defective model at record numbers again. You owe them a good model this year. And you may have to have your margins may be hurt because of it, but you owe it to the consumer because you want them to continue buying your product. Mm-hmm. So if I'm John Mozeliak, I'm absolutely willing to have one of those contracts in this offseason. I can't do it to multiple pitchers, but if it's Nola or Snell or like one of those guys,
yeah.
I'm willing to say, here's a bad business decision. Welcome to the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm. I won't be here anyways.
I was just going to say, does that make Mo a little bit more? Let's just say he won't be here in like 5 years, right? 3 or 5 years.
And I think that's realistic.
I think he's got 2 more than that.
Does he care, or is he trying to win right now? And Aaron Nola gives you the best opportunity to do that.
I would hope that he would care because you want to leave the Cardinals. You know, you want to leave the next guy.
Yeah,
in as good of a spot as possible.
Better than he found it.
They say
yes.
that, but
right.
His legacy, John Mozeliak's legacy, might be going out on top here too. He's like, hey, I brought you to an NLCS or a World Series, or we won a World Series. I can't help that 3 years after you guys are terrible and this contract's an absolute atrocity.
That's your problem.
I had my guy.
Sure, it's an interesting dilemma here. And the Cardinals have been that team that is not just conservative with their spending and conservative with their, cautious with their free agent moves, but they've been very prudent in that regard. It's been consistent.
Uh-huh.
They've avoided these type of deals. Do they change, to Jamie's point, do they change their business model because of last year?
They have to.
Do they look at the Texas Rangers and see what Jacob deGrom just got, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if Aaron Nola were to sign an 8-year deal, let's say, with the Cards, and then he gets injured?
Well, that could be anybody, right? That's the problem. That's the risk you run.
Right. But would you rather have a guy be injured and him have 4 years left on his contract or 7 years left on his contract?
That's tough, man.
It's something to think about, obviously.
Yep. The ultimate catch to this is you're either going to get the player or you're not. Mm-hmm. So I don't even care what the term is. The Cardinals mentally have to be willing to accept the fact that they're going to have to do something that is extremely uncomfortable and out of character, or they'll end up with the same stuff as went on this year.
Very true. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jordan Kyrou, Pavel Buchnevich dealing with some injuries here. Buchnevich, the Buchnevich injury is the key one here. We'll talk about that and maybe some potential, who could be potentially called up. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Blues the other way. 3-on-3 over the line. Thomas to Kyrou. Score! Trading chances, and the Blues get the goal. Kyrou's first of the year. 1-1 the score.
Chris Gerber on the home of the Blues, 101 at ESPN, the Blues Radio Network over the weekend. 3:03, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. I didn't mean to send any Blues fans into any panic. I did the Ron Burgundy thing where I read off my sheet here, and it said Kyrou Buchnevich injury, and I lumped the two together.
You forgot the call.
That's my foot. Well, I did. I totally did. Yeah, that was my fault. So Jordan Kyrou's not hurt, as we know. Pavel Buchnevich is. Jordan Kyrou, though, he netted his first goal in that 2-1 shootout win. Reached the 70-point milestone for the second straight campaign last season, Jamie. Finished with 37 goals and 36 assists in 79 appearances. And this has been a player that you have often compared to David Perron when looking at the first couple of seasons for Perron and the first couple of seasons with Kyrou, when people start to get a little jumpy about Kyrou's, in their minds, the perceived lack of production. Kyrou scores, is setting up, hopefully, what's going to be a big season for not only him, but a Blues offense is a little slow out of the gates here, Jamie.
Yeah, a little bit. Again, they've played against a couple of teams that are pretty solid defensively. Dallas, one of the best teams in the NHL, period, dot. And a couple of good goaltenders. And your power play, we're going to get into that later, hasn't been good. That's being polite. It's been terrible. So all of that will affect your goal production as a team, and certainly for the individuals that are out there as well. But if we're focusing on Jordan Kyrou just for a second here, one of the biggest things that people highlight on Jordan Kyrou is his 200-foot game, the defensive side of things. And trust me, it's a real thing. You know, he's not any threat at this point to win a Selke Trophy, which is awarded to the top defensive forward in the NHL. But I'm seeing improvement. You can't tell me that you didn't watch both of those games and see an improvement. One in particular, one highlight that we talked about on the broadcast was the play started in the offensive zone, and Kyrou came all the way back on the back check through the middle of the ice and knocked down a puck, a pass that was coming across. That's effort. That's compete. That's awareness. That's 200-foot game. This is what you're wanting out of this kid. And he's not missing out offensively. I think that this is what Jordan Kyrou is realizing slowly, too, as a player, is that just because I'm playing better defensively doesn't mean I'm not getting my chances offensively. Although the goal production hasn't been there yet, the opportunity to score has been there. I think he had 9 shots on goal, or 9 total attempts on the net against Dallas, 6 total attempts the other night, including a goal. So it's not like he's not getting the opportunities. I mean, heck, he had a glorious opportunity in that Dallas game where Buch gave him a little touch pass. He was all by himself with the goalie, narrowly missed. Last game, Thomas makes a great play coming down the wing, little give and go. Thomas freezes everybody, back to Kyrou, one-timer, scores. So the offensive chances are there for Jordan Kyrou, but the defensive awareness has been much better. And the turnovers. We're not seeing those turnovers inside the blue lines. We're not seeing the chip it between someone's legs, or the hope of chipping it between someone's legs after you've been on the ice for a minute and 10, a minute 15. You're trying to get a change, and you're not being real cute out there with the puck. He's been managing it better. So, yes, there's still room for improvement. There are still a couple of plays a game, a little bit of a head-scratcher. But overall, I'm seeing at least 2 games in, at least there's an awareness out there. And it's made him look like a better all-around player.
Yeah. That's great. The Pavel Buchnevich injury, not great, Jamie.
Why you gotta be so negative?
How long do you think he could potentially be out for? And then what's the corresponding move if you're Army?
Well, nothing major, that's for sure. The rumor has it that it's a 7 to 10 day type injury, something like that. Yeah, so week to maybe 2 weeks, which is good news. And for anybody listening who didn't see the game on Saturday, first of all, shame on you. You should be watching it or listening to it on the radio. But Buch was down behind the offensive goal, and Jamie Alexiak is a big beast of a man, 6'7" and 250 pounds. He drilled him, and Buch ended up kind of falling awkwardly, shoulder kind of into the boards, onto the ice. Can only speculate that that's probably where the injury is in that area. So the fact that it's a week to maybe 2 weeks is a good thing. But it's a bad thing because you lose Buch at the same time. I just think you see what Craig Berube did the other day is elevate Brandon Saad in the lineup, and then Alexandrov gets his opportunity to join. I think Jake Neighbors would be the guy that moves up the lineup. Or Toropchenko. That guy was a beast. He had a game on Saturday. He had block shots all over the place. Let's see here. Just looking at the block shots total. Toropchenko had 2 block shots the other night. They were big block shots. He had some hits. He had some scoring opportunities. He was buzzing out there. It was awesome to see. So Neighbors or Toropchenko will get elevated in the lineup. So I think that the natural progression would be Verana would end up maybe going up to the Shen line, Neighbors or Toropchenko to play with Hayes and Blais. I think that's what would happen. Alexandrov then slots into the 4th line. Then what do you do for an extra forward? You call up a guy. Who do you call up? It's pretty easy. It's either Mackenzie McEachern or Nathan Walker. If I'm Doug Armstrong, I'm looking at the contract situation, and I've got Mackenzie McEachern on a 2-year, one-way, $800,000 contract. I'm calling him up. I'm going to get my money's worth at least. I'm not going to pay him $800,000 to play in the minors.
Right.
So we have an injury. You call up the guy. So for me, it's Walker or McEachern. I would call it McEachern just as a business decision. You're not going to see Bolduc. Heard some people on these airwaves yapping about Bolduc. You're not going to see Bolduc or Dean. It's not going to be one of those situations. The injury is not long enough for you to disrupt their development. Bolduc just scored his first AHL goal on Saturday or maybe yesterday. You want that kid just buzzing down there. You want him to play so good that you have to call him up because he's outplaying everybody he's playing against, not because there's an injury. And then where do I put him? You're going to take Bolduc and go put him on the first line or the second line up here? No, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, he's still learning the pro game. So I pump the brakes on trying to bring up some kind of a dynamic player to like match what you've lost in your lineup. That wouldn't be the right thing.
Is it possible that we see Berube go with 11 forwards and 7 defense since Scott Perunovich has yet to play a regular season game? And maybe it could be an opportunity to put him on the bench and get some ice time?
You're not crazy, Marshy. Honestly, I thought about that this morning as I was in the shower. I was being really honest with you guys. I thought about it. I was
sometimes your best sometimes your best thoughts come there.
I was just evaluating the next string of games for the Blues because, obviously we talk about it here every day, and then doing the TV stuff now, I'm just kind of going through things. And I was like, it's interesting that the team really didn't seem out of sync after Buch got hurt the other night. Chief did a good job rotating guys through different spots. And playing against the Coyotes team would be a good challenge for Perunovich to get in there. And the power play has sputtered, to say the least. Well, maybe Chief throws Perunovich out there on PP1 and says, hey, do your thing, kid. Let's see what you got. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's out of the question, but, I don't know. It's an interesting situation.
Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Mizzou, huge victory Saturday night in Lexington. What does that win mean for a team like Mizzou? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
So many great games in the NFL yesterday and so many great plays with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I just love it. I love all the stuff that you can do with FanDuel. It's just a great app, so easy to manage and do everything you want. But new customers. So if you're late to the dance right now, don't worry about it. Lots of NFL games left. You're going to have a really good time. Get in there and sign up for FanDuel because new customers are getting $200 back in bonus bets, and that's guaranteed. All you have to do is place a $5 bet. So again, Anthony, here's really easy. You get $200 in bonus bets after you place a $5 bet, and it's guaranteed win or lose.
And you got a game tonight. You got Cowboys, you got Chargers. So if you're a new customer and you've been itching to try it, great. Download FanDuel or go to FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast. And you can play tonight's game. You got the Cowboys and Chargers. Cowboys laying 1.5. The total's 50.5. Maybe you got to lean one way or another. Maybe you're looking at some prop plays tonight. Maybe you like Justin Herbert to go over his passing numbers. numbers or Tony Pollard to go over his rushing numbers, whatever it may be, FanDuel's got all the odds, the spreads, the player props, the over-unders, and more. So go to FanDuel.com/fast and check out FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
21 and over in President, Illinois. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable bonus. Best that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's a fast lane here on 101 ESPN, and let's talk about some college football. What a weekend it was for college football. Anthony and I were hot on Washington, but that was a game that had me on the edge of my seat.
That was wild.
I couldn't believe it. I was down at the rink for the Blues home opener and kind of paying attention, but buzzing around doing a whole bunch of stuff. And then Washington got up by a number of points. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to wax this.
Till
We're
it
going to
wasn't.
wax these ducks. So we're going to do, Anthony. It's exactly what I said, too.
Whoops.
Ish. And then I came back in to check on things. And Oregon's leading now.
Yeah.
And then Washington pulls it off at the end.
Yeah, Washington's offense sputtered there in the second half. They had a numerous, I think they had 3 consecutive 3-and-outs at one point. It didn't look good there for a second, but fortunately Washington came through, and we'll talk about Washington maybe in our prophecies. And, well, sounded good at the time. But I want to talk about Mizzou first for a number of reasons. And
let's talk about those Tigers, baby.
Well,
M-I-Z!
Z-O-U!
Yeah! I thought you guys were going to fumble that for a second.
What, like Kentucky's quarterback? Technically, he didn't fumble. He just threw a bunch of picks. The running back did fumble once, though. Great job by Mizzou.
Fantastic. It's a character win, man.
You go on the road following the loss to LSU, a game that you could have won. You go on the road, and you give up a quick 14. You're down 14-0 heading into the second quarter. Backs against the wall. Loud environment and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And you come roaring back.
Like what you did there.
Nice. You go up by 3 at half, and then you put a team away in the second half after you made key second half adjustments. Jamie, that's one of the things that I think Mizzou has not done well even in wins is make key second half adjustments to lead you to victory, or at least aid you, because the players on the field, they still have to perform. The second half last week against LSU, I thought LSU's coaching staff made subtle adjustments.
Oh, yeah, they did.
To open up big plays that led to LSU winning that game. On Saturday night in Lexington, I thought Mizzou made the adjustments. They saw that Leary wasn't bailing out of the pocket. A lot of times he would step up when Mizzou was rushing forward. So what did Mizzou do? They started to collapse the pocket on him. Then when he started to bail, he doesn't have a strong enough arm to get it on the outside. And Mizzou's corners wreaked havoc against Kentucky's wide receivers. They owned that group. In fact, I thought Mizzou's wide receivers owned Kentucky's corners as well. So that matchup wound up favoring Mizzou big time. But credit Brady Cook, he was the better quarterback. He made better play. He made bigger plays. You saw him outside of the pocket improvise. There was a couple of plays that I really liked Mizzou that Mizzou ran to give him an opportunity to either run or pass. They couldn't run the ball necessarily until the end, and then Schrader had the big run on that outside zone where he cut back and scored the touchdown. I thought that was beautiful by Mizzou in the second half. Huge win, and it's one of those things where you say, okay, we lost to LSU. Where are we right now in this as a program? You go on the road, you fall down 14-0 to a ranked Kentucky team, and then you do that in the second half. Credit, man. That was outstanding.
So that's where it starts and ends for me. You're down 14-0. Easy at that point to just be like, well, it's a good Kentucky team.
Right.
We tried. That's not what happened, though. The team, the coaching staff, they push back. And that's what I want to see out of a college team is pushback, because, it's easy to be riding high in the good times. The hardest thing for college level players is to have that drive that when you're down 14 or 17, that you don't just pack it in and be like, right. That you come back in that game, that you outplay the opposition. And they did. I loved it, man. Honestly, Mizzou football has me back on. It really does. I'm back on the bus with these guys. I wasn't to start the season. I was still bitter from last season and in seasons prior, obviously. And I kept waiting. This is where it's going to Kansas State, that one there, that's going to get them. Yeah. Forget it. LSU's going to blow them out of the water. None of that happened. Yes, LSU did win by 10, but they didn't blow you out of the water. Quite honestly, I still believe Mizzou should have won that game. Mm-hmm. So I'm back on, man. I like this team. I'm not crazy enough to think that they're going to go in there and upset somebody like Georgia or anything like that, but
you at least know you're going to give them a game.
Yeah, I don't feel like this team's going to be embarrassed this year.
Jamie.
Big steps for the program.
Yeah, building off of what you just said, we're 7 games in now. And this goes for all college football teams, not just Mizzou. But Mizzou is 6-1. They're 2-1 in the conference. They have played 7 games. Kentucky, 5-2, 2-2 in the conference. They have played 7 games. You look around the nation, most teams have played 7 or 8 games, depending on if you had played your, that week 0 game, or if you've already had a bye. You know who you are right now. That's the beauty of what we just saw on Saturday night. From here on out, barring significant injuries, we know what Mizzou is. Mizzou is a team, and we know what they aren't. Mizzou is a team that's going to handle bad opponents, as they've done. They're also a team that's going to be a pain in the ass to teams like LSU. I think they're going to be a pain in the ass to Georgia. I'll be interested to see what the spread is when it comes to Tennessee and Mizzou, with the game being in Mizzou. But otherwise, they're a team that can score on most teams. Look at that test against Georgia here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And defensively, they can create some havoc, so sacks, force some turnovers. Speed-wise, though, if they face a team like LSU or a team that's got a bunch of speed, aforementioned Tennessee comes into play here, some adjustments have to be made. Otherwise, it's a good team. You're a Mizzou fan right now. You think just okay, we're a good team. We're going to be in every game throughout the rest of the way. You should beat South Carolina. You should beat Florida. You should beat Arkansas.
That's where I was going.
Georgia and Tennessee going to be interesting.
So do you think this is
fun?
You think this is a 9-win team? When the season's over, is this a 9-win team for you?
Let's see, the 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously they got 6 wins.
They would have to win
7.
those 3 games you just talked about.
Yes, they're a 9-win team. I didn't think so at the beginning of the year.
I'm going to have a lot of crow to eat.
Same.
Because
I'll be right there with you.
When the odds came out before the season, I think it was 6.5 wins, and I was like under. And then I think we got one of our texters here. I believe his name's Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Who's I believe that's true. I've been hitting the head a lot of times, but he's been weekly kind of like the first couple weeks was like I'm not happy with my bet because he was betting that they'd win 8 or 9 games, and now he's got to be just sitting there like peacock.
Well, Kyle, and there's some other Mizzou fans. I know there's a Mizzou guy
If they get to 9 wins, I will apologize on these airwaves.
There was a Mizzou fan that came in earlier today and was like, I guess Mizzou didn't play this weekend, you scumbags. I added the scumbags part. But this is what the excitement does, right? Like, this is great. Jamie, I won't let you eat that crow alone.
I was vocal about it, so I deserve it.
Table for 2.
Table for 2? All right.
2 different meals of crow, please. I think they're a 9-win team.
I think that I said they weren't going to be that good either.
Table for 3?
Add another plate.
Add another chair. We'll take another another slice of that crow.
Yep.
And honestly, I think, Jamie, you kind of said it. I'm happy to eat it, man. I would rather talk about a competitive Mizzou team than the one that beats South Dakota, Middle Tennessee State, Memphis, and Vanderbilt, gets all hyped up, loses to LSU, goes on the road, gets crushed by Kentucky, and then we're like, see, we can't talk about you. I would rather talk about this team. This is fun. I love SEC
Way
football.
better this way.
Remember when we were talking
It's
about
legit too, like they're legit. They're a legit good team. You ain't great, but you're good.
Yeah.
Remember when we started the season off talking about Colorado?
Yes,
They're terrible.
Stanford.
Well, they're not terrible.
No, they're terrible.
They that was an epic disaster though.
And
my gosh.
You blow a big lead to, USC. Okay. You blow a big lead to like Arizona. Okay. This Stanford, you blow a big lead to Stanford? Did you guys see the officials had to get on the PA guy too in the midway through the game? He goes to the PA announcer, stop playing music when Stanford's lining up, or I'll assess a 15-yard penalty on you.
Oh, in Colorado?
Yes, because the Colorado PA announcer kept playing music as soon as Stanford was getting into formation. Wheels are falling off for Coach Prime.
It's going to be fine.
It will be. Oh, yeah, moving forward, like Deion said. He said, you better get me now. People forget, this Colorado team wasn't supposed to win more than a handful of games this year, so they're already way ahead of it.
I saw it was about an 8-minute video of some of the coaches. I think Deion was also a part of that, just talking to the team. And there was one before Friday's game, sort of critiquing their work ethic in practice and whatnot, and obviously that translates to Saturdays. And then Deion was going on about the players reacting on social media, and he says, you guys don't deserve to react back. You guys have been bad.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the hype has gotten to these kids' heads to where they think, everyone's coming to watch us play. We're the you-know-what. We don't need to put that work in at practice. We're just going to ball out on Saturday. I wonder if that really has caught up to this team.
Anthony, what did I say after the very first game for Colorado on primetime?
I don't know.
I said, I wonder if this is Deion's used to the spotlight. Deion
are the players.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I said, I wonder if the players are going to be able to deal with all of the hype and the movie stars and the athletes and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I said it after week 1, after that whole prime, the very first game of the season, and it was like a big deal.
Sure.
I said that, and I find that it's interesting that you just brought that up because you're right, and a lot of these players weren't at this level. last year. So a lot of these kids, he brought a lot of the kids from Jackson State and all this stuff. Like, this is a lot now.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. So I think Dion talking about the social media and all that, these players got ahead of themselves. They started, as they say in the business, reading their own news clippings and being like, yeah, man, even his own son. It's like, so I'm balling out, doing the watch thing all the time to people. Okay, hey, why don't you pump the brakes there, fella?
Sure.
He just blew a 29-point lead.
And Dion
To
did
Stanford.
say that.
You got to say to Stanford.
To Stanford.
But Dion did say that even about his own kid. He's
Yeah,
like,
pump the brakes there.
He needs to just,
I still love what he's doing.
I still love it too.
Yeah, but you're right.
The players now are victims of the juggernaut as far as publicity is concerned.
Sure.
So
Yeah, no, you're absolutely
but
right.
they won't have to go through this next year.
No.
Because it will have been used to it this year.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. So we were wrong about Mizzou. We have been wrong about Mizzou. We did get Washington right, though. That was kind of a prophecy for us, a close game there. We'll do some other prophecies, and, well, sounded good at the time. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Dirt Cheap has a new app that you can download, and let me tell you something, it is fantastic. And if you're looking for anything for that matter, how about the great selection of beer, wines, how about that bourbon, right? All you do is download the app, and you can swipe right and get huge savings on things. Find exclusive discounts, too. You can find out what the store locations are. And all you have to do is download the Dirt Cheap app. You can shop smart and save time by downloading the app and using it. And there's no better way to acquire what you need than from Dirt Cheap. So please get online, download the app, and join the Dirt Cheap VIP Blues Club to get discounts, free offers, enter giveaways, and more. But again, you have to download the app to get started. We all know that I'm a bourbon guy. Dirt Cheap has great selection of bourbons. They've got you covered in every category. So please make sure you get online where you get to your app store, find the Dirt Cheap app, and download it. You won't be sorry, that's for sure. And make sure that you tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. If you get into one of those locations, tell them I sent you in, tell them I said hi. They're going to take care of you over at Dirt Cheap. So again, please download the Dirt Cheap app today.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues picked up their first win of the season on Saturday in their home opener against the Seattle Kraken. A 2-1 victory in a shootout. Jordan Binnington has only let up 2 goals so far on the year. A fantastic 2 games for Jordan Binnington, stopping 63 of 65 shots to start the 2023-2024 season. The Blues will be back in action on Thursday, taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. You can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. Tonight we have Monday Night Football for you. Cowboys Chargers to close out Week 6. Pregame starts at 6:30. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Time for prophecies, and well, sounded good at the time. We'll start off with a prophecy that we all had, which was that Washington would knock off Oregon, and boy, that was a wild one. And like Jamie, I thought that the Washington offense was going to stall out just enough to not get us a win. I mean, Bo Nix was great. Michael Penix Jr. was great, and he got a little banged up. Not much defense played in that one overall, but Washington did come through. And our Fader Follow guy pushed, so because it was a 3-point line, so he'll be back with us on Friday. But we did all call Washington beating Oregon, so there was at least one prophecy for us. Marsh, was there a prophecy over the weekend that you're proud of?
Yeah, the Notre Dame win over USC. I said that USC's defense was not that good, and Notre Dame spanked them over the weekend. So good job for me, good job for the Irish, and USC is a fraud. They're smoke and mirrors.
It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, it's
they
tough.
They nearly lost to Arizona last weekend.
Yeah, and they almost lost to Colorado.
That's true, too.
Yeah. So the USC defense is not good.
Mm-hmm. They've been walking that tightrope there for a while.
Yeah.
Jamie, your most proud prophecy? USC, by the way, ranked 18th now. They're done. Have a nice day.
My most proud?
Your most proud prophecy?
I'd say taking the Bengals over the Seahawks. I know you and I had words.
Yeah,
several words.
Yeah.
On air about this. And you just kept saying Seahawks. Kind of arrogantly, actually. It was a little bit much. But either way, I'm proud of the fact that the Bengals buried them. I mean, the Seahawks never had a chance. Not even right down to the very end, they never had a chance.
Jamie, you're right on so much. I apologize for being arrogant. I didn't realize at the time that Geno Smith had money on Cincinnati.
What?
Allegedly.
He's afraid of the end zone. Somewhere somebody hypnotized him and said the end zone is lava. Don't go near the end zone. It's hot lava.
You think Jacksonville will trade for him since Trevor Lawrence got injured?
Yeah, probably.
They have a thing for that.
Mm-hmm. I keep watching that game. I mean, they're showing some highlights of it now. He threw a pick inside the red zone in the midway through the third quarter, then had one knocked down after he absolutely directed one to Tyler Lockett, strip sack on another 4th and goal. Then on the 4th and 8 at the end of the game, he didn't even get the ball off. It was brutal.
It's terrible
watching that team.
Terrible quarterbacking.
Yeah,
that's a word.
Yeah, I would say so.
Sure.
All right, my most proud prophecy. I had the Texans over the Saints. I was locked in on that one.
You did.
I love the Texans. I said, quote, Houston's a better team than New Orleans, and it proved yesterday. Now it got tight a couple of times there, but Houston, they were the better overall team, and nobody wants to win that NFC South. So we'll see what happens. All right, Marsh, your most embarrassing. Well, sounded good at the time.
I don't know if it's embarrassing, but I just keep picking the Patriots to win. That's 3 weeks in a row.
I'm right there with you.
3 weeks in a row. I just have a feeling going into the week, like this might be the week that they actually play football and do it well. And they just continue and just to be terrible. They're terrible. I'm wondering how long Bill Belichick has left as a head coach.
As long as he wants.
Because if I'm the head coach, Mac Jones is not my quarterback.
Who is your quarterback?
Throw Bailey Zappi in there.
Okay, and then when it blows up in your face, then go to who?
Then go get somebody else.
Malik.
Literally anybody else.
They called up Malik Cunningham.
They did from the practice
He was kind of
squad.
weaving in and out there throughout the game, playing both receiver and quarterback.
He actually wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was good by any means, but he wasn't terrible. And that. Unfortunately, that is where the Patriots have. They have all their quarterbacks in that category of they're either terrible or they're not terrible.
They're basically average or not terrible.
Yes. But yeah, I picked them to beat the Raiders.
Yeah, I did too. I had the Patriots, and there was a couple of times where in the second half, Ramondre Stevenson started to go, and then he got knocked out of the game there for most of the third quarter. I'm like, well, there goes that. Yeah, that's one where you just hold your nose. I know everybody and their brother was on the Raiders, which is one of the reasons why I picked the Patriots, but as that game was going on, as Mac Jones...
Even I was on the Raiders.
Yes. Like I said, everybody and their brother.
And that was the difference.
And that's my team.
And that's your team. When Mac Jones threw the one, Hunter Henry, he rolled out right in the first half on one of the plays, and Hunter Henry was like wide open, and Hunter Henry's like, right over here. Mac Jones threw it up and behind him and perfectly right to a defender. He was like, I got you, Hunter. And Hunter Henry just looked at it. Boom, right in the numbers to a defender. I'm like, yeah, that pick wasn't good. Jamie, what about yours?
Well, mine wasn't a team. Mine was an individual. We did our sleeper picks.
Oh, yeah.
I picked Shaky Bakey.
And he was shaky.
Yeah, he only threw for 206 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Yeah.
The QBR of 22.9. Yeah.
Well, the good news is your Lions continue to prove that they're legit.
Are they ever?
That's a good damn team.
That's a really good team on both sides of the ball now. Whatever happened to that defense, man? Like, they added a couple pieces, I know.
Yeah.
But also just even the regular guys, like, everybody's elevated, man.
And with the 49ers and Eagles now banged up, door's pretty open there for the Lions.
Isn't that incredible?
That'd be amazing.
I would absolutely lose my mind if the Lions won the Super Bowl. I would fly to Detroit for the parade.
Okay.
I will. If they win the Super Bowl, I'll fly to Detroit. I will paint myself blue head to toe. And I will go to that Super Bowl parade.
Honolulu Blue.
And somehow, some way, I will meet Dan Campbell.
Dan, I love you.
Yeah.
It's me, Jamie.
Maybe I have to bring a real lion with me.
You might.
Dan will notice me.
He'll notice you for sure.
I was talking about this with you guys briefly in the office, but I looked at the Lions' schedule, the rest of the season. They only play like maybe 2 good teams.
They have a very good schedule.
They have a pretty good schedule that could give them favor to potentially be 1 or 2 in the conference.
Yeah.
But I want to flip that too. And how much does schedule prepare a team for the playoffs? You know, if you're playing the Bears twice, the Vikings twice, the Raiders, some of these bad teams that don't necessarily prepare you for the playoffs, how will that impact you once the postseason rolls around?
Well, the good news is, though, at the end of their schedule, even though the Vikings are having a bit of a down year, they play Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings, the 3 last games to kind of head into the playoffs. They do have the Ravens on the schedule. So they have a couple. You know?
They have like 1 or 2 good teams. I'll throw the Cowboys in there because,
yeah.
I don't really want to.
And I don't mind the easy games, quite honestly. Then maybe you take some miles off some of your guys, too.
Yeah.
If you get ahead by a couple scores, you don't have to play all of your top guys all the time.
What did we see yesterday, though? There are really no easy wins. We think they're easy, but
that's fair.
The Giants should have beaten the Bills. The Browns did beat the Niners. The Jets did beat the Eagles. And that was a Jets team that were down their starting corners. Sauce Gardner did not play, and neither did Reeder. That was there for the taking for the Eagles. So you're going to get moments throughout an NFL season where you lose a game you're not supposed to, if not a couple of games you're not supposed to, and those are the ones you learn from. Speaking of losing, they lost David Montgomery yesterday. I wonder how much of an impact that will have on their team.
Well, we'll see now if the youngster
you should have drafted a running back in the first round.
They should have done that.
Oh, Wayne. They did.
Yeah.
watch what they do. It's going to be the Christian McCaffrey effect. He's not as good as Christian McCaffrey, but I told you 2 weeks ago that they had the same number of carries at the same time in their rookie seasons.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity now for the Lions to kind of, elevate the number of carries. We'll see what happens.
Right.
If the kid's ready, great. If he's not, then you're going to have to go back to the playbook and figure some things out. But I don't see this. Yes, it's a big loss because obviously Montgomery's their number one guy.
Huge for me, too.
But yeah, I bet, you got him in fantasy, right?
Maybe.
But I think this problem is solvable. At least you have pieces that can be played. Not exact replacements, but you never know.
Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We'll get to the Blues power play next in the Fast Lane.
Anthony was just talking about the Lions and the NFL and all that stuff. Well, if you have FanDuel, America's number one sports book, you can go pick the Lions right now to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, heck, you can pick them to win the Super Bowl. That's what I'm doing. But if you're a new customer, you also get some fun things going on, too, because all you have to do is sign up and then bet $5, and you get $200 back in bonus bets. So, again, it's real easy. You get $200 back in bonus bets after you place a $5 bet. And the best part about it with FanDuel, doesn't matter if you win or lose.
So visit FanDuel to take advantage of the offer that Jamie just threw out there. Again, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast. And then you can play tonight's game. You got the Cowboys, you got the Chargers. Cowboys, a slight road favorite. 50.5 is the total right now. Maybe you like one side of it. Maybe you're looking at some of the prop plays. It's really up to you. Spreads, player props, same game parlays. It's all available at FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
21 and over in President, Illinois. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You wanted the best? Well, you got the best. The hottest band in the world.
Kiss. The End of the Road World Tour. October 25th, Enterprise Center. Kiss. Countdown. The final 50 shows. On sale now at livenation.com. History will be made.
101 ESPN has your chance to win free tickets to Tim McGraw. With special guest Carly Pierce on Friday night, March 22nd at Enterprise Center. Tim McGraw is returning for a huge show at Enterprise Center, and 101 ESPN has your chance to win free tickets for the show. Get entered to win right now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
Before we get to the Blues power play, let's hand out some Blues tickets.
Yeah, baby.
That's right. We have your chance right now to score a pair of tickets to see your St. Louis Blues take on the Pittsburgh Penguins this Saturday, October 21st at Enterprise Center. Hockey season, as you know, it's back, so grab your tickets for an upcoming Blues home game now at stlouisblues.com/tickets, or you can listen to this question that Jamie's going to throw out, trivia question, and you can text into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646 to win that pair of tickets for Blues versus Penguins. So, without further ado, Jamie, what's the question?
All right, it's a good one. What current St. Louis Blues player is born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Oscar Sundqvist.
Oh, that was Sweden. This player,
Pavel Buchnevich,
is also a Stanley Cup champion. Yeah, Buch is Sharapovitz. That's Russia.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead, Jamie. Say that again for everybody.
Which current Blues player who is a Stanley Cup champion was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
If you know the correct answer to that question, and you're the 101st texter to the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646, you'll have an opportunity to win those tickets.
Or you can type in your answer at the Air Alliance YouTube feed in the group chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jamie, power play. Let's talk about this with the Blues.
Yeah, that's when you have 5 players on the ice. The other team has 4.
I don't want you to describe it. I want you to tell us what you're seeing thus far in 2 games with the Blues power play.
Well, the reason I said it that way to begin with is because it's supposed to be an advantage. That's the way. That's the reason I said it that way.
Jamie, doesn't seem like it is.
No, it has not been much of an advantage for the Blues at all. They're just not. They're not in sync right now, or the Backstreet Boys for that matter. They're out of whack with their breakouts, their neutral zone regroups, the zone entries, and then once they get set up in the offensive zone, not much coming out of it. 0 goals for one thing, but even scoring chances, it's been limited to say the least. I don't know. Look, it takes practice. You got to preseason, as much as people think, well, I hate preseason games, you never really have your actual lineup all in a game at the same time, because you still have some, accessory pieces, meaning other players that you're looking at and trying to give an opportunity to. So it does take some time to get your power play going. I just think that right now guys are feeling it a little bit. They're gripping their sticks, because a breakout should be almost can't miss, especially these days in the NHL when you got that drop pass breakout where you're screwing up the timing for the opposition and all that. Right now they're not executing clean. And all that means is they're not making good passes. When they're getting to, when the other team shoots the puck down the ice, they call it a full clear, is a 200-foot clear, all the way down the ice. Well, they're not getting to 200 feet, some of these. Some of these are getting a little short, so that your breakout now is taking place just inside the blue line rather than the hole behind the net thing. So the routes are getting changed a little bit. The timing is off. So rather than regrouping there, maybe the Blues should take it back and come out the exact way that they're set up to come out, so that everybody's got the right timing. The one thing, too, that they could improve on is teams are standing up at the blue line. They've got good angles in the neutral zone to force the puck out wide, and then the defensemen are standing up at the blue lines. This power play has to have the willingness to put the puck in. Just chip it in. Chip it in and go get it. Because carrying it in right now with full possession of the puck, it's just not working. It's not working. You're not getting clean entries into the offensive zone.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, because the routes are not being, they're not executing the routes properly, so the defensemen are able to stand up at the blue line.
Okay.
And the defensemen are able to stand up too. Why? Because they know you're not chipping the puck in deep. Like, if I know that Jordan Kyrie's coming down on me and he's no chance, he is not even thinking for 1 second of dumping the puck in behind me, I'm aggressive. I'm at the line, and I'm telling my forwards and my other defensemen, cut the ice in half. And I'm going to give him the boards, and I'm going to take it away. If he jumps to the middle, you're right there. And that's what's happening. And so then the turnover, puck goes back down. Well, Jordan Kyrou, now he's got to restart his route, and everybody's got to try to get the timing back.
Yeah.
So the key for the zone entries right now for the Blues, in my opinion, is getting up the ice, feeling that pressure at the blue line. So you see the guy put the puck into open ice. And then you've got speed. Go get it. Get in there. That way your defenseman can get up to in the play and be that weak side release point for you. So if you have to get the puck and you've got pressure on you right away, you can kick the puck weak side all the way back out, and now your defenseman's got it, and it spreads out their coverage a little bit.
All right, so I think about a team that just does what it does offensively, right? This is our system. It doesn't matter who the opponent is, doesn't matter what the opponent's doing. This is what we do. Is that what the Blues are doing on the power play? Because what you just described would seemingly be an easy fix if that's how opponents are playing you.
It is an easy fix.
So are the Blues just saying we just do what we do, or is it just...
It's a bit of an unwillingness to change what you're doing. And this goes... Listen, there's no secret here. Craig Berube talked about it openly last year about certain players, certain dynamic players, Kyrou, Thomas, maybe being two of them. Actually, they were. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. They were.
Yeah.
About being able to chip the puck down the wall and skate around the opposition and go get the puck. There's an unwillingness there at times because they don't want to... That's not the way they want to play.
Sure.
Sometimes it's the way you have to play. And I know that they're working on the power play every day. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a change. Booch isn't there now, so who gets the opportunity? But until you start dumping the puck in or chipping it in to retain possession, teams are not going to back off that blue line. They're just not. I wouldn't either. There's no stress for them at that point. And now, let's keep it real. Seattle has a good penalty-killing team, and so does the Dallas Stars. And they're well-oiled machines, and you ran into those two teams to start the season. So it's not the end-all, be-all. That's not like, this power play's going to be bad all year. No, I'm not saying that at all. I just think that you simplify it by getting the puck in, go win some puck battles, get possession of the puck, don't give it away then. Get some pucks to the net and get some pressure. Like Craig Berube's very serious right now about 1-pass, 2-pass shot. Establish the shot so that the defensemen are forced to protect the net front, which leaves some opportunity then down low to get creative after you've established the shot. But again, we're 2 games in. It's not like we have to tear it all down and how are we going to fix this? No, it's not that. It's just reorganizing it within the players that are out there because there's no doubt they're talented enough to do it. You've got some of the most talented players in the league as part of your first power play group. Now it's maybe dialing down the talent, upping the effort just a little bit, and I think that's where you'll find your answer.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Coming up next, we got the Gauntlet.
Anthony, getting old stinks.
What?
It does. You know what? It's inevitable. It happens to all of us guys. Getting old stinks. The body starts to hurt more and, you start to feel worse and tired and run down and you don't really know why. Well, I went to Mentality and they helped me. So my life is back on track and I'm fine. 48 years old, feel like I'm 25 because Mentality sat down with me, asked me questions, and then they did a full blood panel and I found out that I was low in testosterone, which, by the way, happens to every single guy at some point in life. Well, they've got me fixed, and I am running on all cylinders, baby.
Well, Jamie, speak for yourself, all right? I was, I went to Mentality, too.
You did.
Yeah, you start to feel, you do, because you start to feel run down. And a lot of times you add more as you get older, right? Add maybe another job here, or maybe a new stress when it comes to
another kid.
Well, it's a blessing.
It is, but you
and
added
a bit
more,
of a stress.
You know
Yeah,
you
we
did.
absolutely. So you start to feel like I can't get to it all. If I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed. I'm now down because I'm not getting to it, or I stop working out completely and I never feel like I'm going to get it back. Well, go to Mentality. That's what they're there for. When you sit down with them, tell them exactly how you feel. They'll check you out. If you are low on testosterone, you are low on some of the other essential vitamins, they'll tell you how they can help and what you're going to feel like in a mere couple of weeks, because you do start to turn things around. You do start to feel younger. And all you had to do was pay one visit to Mentality.
Yeah, go in there, visit the location, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. But if you need more information, check them out online at lowtusa.com. Again, that's our friends at Mentality at lowtusa.com.
Warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
402, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we've got Jeff on the line for the Gauntlet. What's up, Jeff?
What's going on, boys? How we doing?
Doing all right, man. First time in the Gauntlet?
Second. Last time was back in the Ranji days. So.
Okay. All right. So it's been a while for you. Welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Would you like to take on Andrew Marsh, Jamie, or me today?
Anthony, I'll take on you.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Wow, he's sensing weakness in you today.
He totally
Anthony.
is. Yeah. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. I've been picking that up, too.
Oh, thanks, Jamie. Jeff, best of luck to you, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, Anthony's headed to the cone of silence here. What we'll do, Jeff, is as Anthony's headed there, I need you to tell Marshy to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
All right, Jeff, so you picked Anthony. What category do you absolutely not want to see today?
Football, without a doubt.
Football, okay. Well, Jeff, I've got some bad news for you.
Oh, boy.
It's football. The wheel landed on football, and usually Anthony, he usually lands on hockey, but...
Yeah.
By the way, we had to go to our other wheel we need. The wheel that we just received is in the shop.
It's on the IR with Booch.
It's on the IR.
Right now.
Yeah. Be back in 2 to 3 days.
Yeah. Okay, so Marshy's going to hand me the questions here. Our guy Mike Ryder in here looking all serious, too, with all the other questions. Boy, it's really gotten serious.
What are you doing?
Either way, the rules are as follows. You get 2 points if you answer a question correctly without the options. If you use the options, answer correctly, you get 1 point. And, of course, Jeff, if you answer incorrectly, you get no points. Understand, my man?
Got it. Let's go.
All right, let's party. Here we go. Category football, question 1. Through 5 weeks, which player leads the NFL in rushing yards?
I'll just take a shot and say Derrick Henry.
Final answer?
Final.
Okay.
Question number 2. The year the St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl, what was their record in the regular season?
Give me the options.
Options are 12-4, 13-3, or 14-2.
Well, 13-3.
Final answer?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jeff, question 3. That team, the Rams, beat the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship. Which team did they beat in the divisional round?
Oh, my goodness. My dad might smack me. Give me the options.
Sure. Was it the New Orleans Saints, the Carolina Panthers, or the Minnesota Vikings?
Panthers.
Final answer?
Final.
Thank you.
Final question for you. Dick Vermeil coached that team to their Super Bowl victory. Which team did Vermeil coach before the Rams?
I believe it was the Chiefs. We'll go Chiefs. Final answer.
All right, Jeff, let's see if we can get Anthony back in here. He's sitting there talking to Mike Ryder, probably driving him crazy. Mike's got work to do. Anthony's probably bothering him. Oh, hey, welcome back, Anthony.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Usually when you do that and you sound all nice, you said something really crappy.
No.
Right before that.
We're just describing that Mike Ryder's in there, probably trying to work hard, and you're probably bothering him.
Oh, that's nice. That's real nice.
Sorry.
Yeah. Mike and I have a mutual friendship that, quite frankly, you wouldn't know about, Jamie. Because you treat everybody like crap.
Wow.
And nobody's going to say it to you, but I will.
Well, they don't say it. You know why, Anthony?
Why?
Because it's not true.
Okay.
That's a nice try, though.
How did Jeff do?
Better pack a lunch.
Yuki.
All right, Anthony. You know what it is. You know what time it is.
Random. Randomly hockey?
It's time to pack a lunch.
Yeah. Categories football, Anthony.
Ooh,
Question
okay. Here we
number
go. Here
one.
we go.
Through 5 weeks, which player leads the NFL in rushing yards?
Through 5 weeks, who leads the NFL in rushing yards? It's not Derrick Henry. It's not Josh Jacobs, who led the league last year. Tony Pollard's had some rough ones. Could be Devon Achane, although he didn't play last week. Let me get the options, please. Ooh, I think I know who it is. Go ahead.
Who do you think it is?
McCaffrey, but go ahead.
Yeah, you gotta take the options.
I'm going to take the options.
Yep. Let's hope he's an option. Zach Moss, Devon Achane.
Achane.
Yeah. Or Christian McCaffrey.
2 guys I said, huh? McCaffrey and Achane. I'm going to go with McCaffrey, though. Final answer, Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Question number 2. The year the St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl, what was their record in the regular season?
They lost to the Titans. Did they have another loss? I think they did. Not. think they only lost once. Maybe it was to the Titans. 15-1. Final answer. Or did they lose it? I already said final
answer. Sorry.
Shoot, did they lose it?
Sorry, folks. Park's closed. Moose outside. Should have told you. Question number 3.
What?
What?
That's from
It's from the original Vacation.
Yeah. He goes through St. Louis.
Yeah,
He's St. Louis, doesn't he?
He does.
They get their tires stolen.
Can you tell me how to get back on the highway?
Moose out front should have told you.
Yep. All right, question 3. That Rams team beat the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship. Which team did they beat in the divisional round?
The Minnesota Vikings. Final answer.
Question number 4. Dick Vermeil coached that team to their Super Bowl victory. Which team did Vermeil coach before the Rams?
NFL team? That would be the Philadelphia Eagles. Final answer.
All right. Let's get into it here. Let's go question number 1. Through 5 weeks, which player leads the NFL in rushing yards? Jeff, you said Derrick Henry. Anthony, you said Christian McCaffrey. Answer is?
You said Devon A-Chain. He didn't play in week 6. But it's Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, wow.
Anthony needed the options. So it's 1-0.
You had me there, Marsh. Whew.
Anthony. Let's go to question 2. The year the St. Louis Rams won the Super Bowl, what was their record in the regular season? Jeff, you said 13-3. Anthony, you said 15-1. Answer is?
The Rams did lose 1 game, and they lost 2 more. 13-3.
13-3.
I don't remember them losing 2 more.
Jeff needed the options, so we're tied up at 1. Next question.
I got to know that.
Question 3. That Rams team beat the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship. Which team did they beat in the divisional round? Jeff, you took the options, said the Panthers. Anthony, without the options, you said Marshy's Minnesota Vikings. Answer is?
It is the Minnesota Vikings, but at the time they were not my Minnesota Vikings.
Anthony did not need the options. So 3-1, Anthony headed into the final question. Both of you have different answers. Neither of you used the options. All right. Dick Vermeil coached that Rams team to their Super Bowl victory. Which team did Vermeil coach before the Rams? Without the options, Jeff said the Kansas City Chiefs. Without the options, Anthony said the Philadelphia Eagles. Answer is?
It is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Jeff.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Coach the Chiefs after.
Yeah, he did. He did coach the Chiefs, but it was after. Anthony gets you today, 5-1. Jeff, sorry, man.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for playing, Jeff. Thanks for listening.
Good job, Jeff.
Yep, listen every day. I'll keep trying.
Thanks,
Awesome, man. Have a great day.
Appreciate you.
Take care, gentlemen.
I got to know that 13-3. So they lost to the Titans. Who else they lose to? Randy would know that right away.
I don't know.
Randy would tell you the score in those two games.
The only reason I knew the Dick Vermeil question is because I've seen the movie Invincible with Vince Papale.
Vince Papale.
I had a chance to interview the real Vince Papale.
Yeah.
Nicest guy you'll ever meet. Super good dude.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, that's a great story. You've seen that, right?
Oh my God!
Vince
Yeah, I love
Papale
that
story.
movie. It's great.
Yeah. I gotta see the 1990 Rams. Who they lose to? Let's look this up real quick. People are screaming right now at their radio, I'm sure. They lost to the Titans. Oh, they lost to Jamie's Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
The following week, 31-27, and they did lose week 17.
Dan Campbell was
to the
on
Eagles.
that team.
He may have been. he may have been.
I have a chance.
I don't think so, but who knows?
There's a chance.
Dan Campbell, as a player, no, he played for the Giants in '99. That was his rookie year. He did play for the Lions, but it was 06 to 08.
That would have been awesome.
Were you a Red Wing in 06?
No.
It was
I was a Blue.
04, 05.
I was 02 to 05.
02 to 05. You just missed Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
For the Lions.
I know.
All right. That's a gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Speaking of Jamie's Blues, how long can the Blues keep relying on Jordan Binnington?
As long as he keeps saving the puck.
That's next on 101 ESPN.
Selling your house can be a stressful process. The market's all over the place. We've seen how that has been recently, especially in the St. Louis area. And one thing that you want to make sure is that you have a great agent that's going to get out there and make sure that they're marketing your home properly. This is why you have to choose Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And a couple of reasons for that is that why wouldn't you want your agent to have the buyers already for you? And that's what Gloria Lou has. She's got a database with thousands of ready buyers, and what that does is it creates a higher demand for your home, hopefully more showings, and maybe multiple offers. At the end of the day, it's more money and getting you to the closing table and selling your home. Gloria also has other options available to you. My favorite is the guaranteed sales, where Gloria sits down with the homeowner and they agree upon the sales price and possession date. And she'll sell your home for that list price, or she'll buy it herself, and she guarantees that in handwriting. So please take a minute, pick up the phone, call Gloria Lou, tell her that Jamie Rivers sent you. Her number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Remember, conditions do apply. You must agree on the sales price and possession date.
Well, he's making saves, like that's that's what he's supposed to do. I mean, he's been strong. He was great tonight. Made some big saves. but I liked, even though in the first period we were a little bit on our heels, and they got some shots and stuff, but we were really good in our front of our net of not allowing second and third opportunities.
That was Craig Berube, head coach of your St. Louis Blues, following the game on a Saturday night when the Blues opened their home schedule with a 2-1 win in the shootout against the Seattle Kraken. How long can the Blues keep relying on Jordan Binnington? We've talked about this. We talked about this earlier in the show. He's made already 63 or 65 saves, 65 shot opportunities. He's made 63 of them. Jamie, you had mentioned the blocking, the shot blocking that we've seen thus far. But do you think that is something that can continue?
What, the shot blocking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has
to. The dedication to
it. It has to. I think the best thing that the Blues have going for them right now is the players recognize and understand what the identity of the team has to be this year. I think the coaching staff has done a fantastic job of making this team very aware of what they are and what they aren't as a team. I think Craig Berube has talked extensively with these guys regarding winning one-goal games. This team's going to win one-goal games. Let's be ready for a long season of winning tight games. Mm-hmm. And I think when that message gets pounded home so many times, you realize that, okay, like we don't have to worry about scoring 5-6 goals. It's going to be nice. It's not. When I say this, it's not like the Blues don't go out there trying to score goals. They are. But they're, right now anyways, more dedicated to the defensive side of the game. And why is that? Well, because did you watch last year? It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't consistent. And now I will argue that the group that was here to finish the season, although the talent wasn't as high as the group that started the season, the dedication to the process, I think, was greater. And I felt like the Blues did improve defensively towards the end of the season, albeit too late at that point. But it was a nice way to end the season so that the offseason players had a little bit of a recollection of what it's supposed to feel like and look like. And then when you hear the coaching staff talking about, making some changes, well, they did. They made a coaching change. Mike Weber came in here. And again, all of this doesn't just fall on Mike Weber's shoulders. He didn't walk in and say, hey, by the way, your system sucks. Here's my system. This is why I'm here. Mm-hmm. Sit back and enjoy. He didn't. No. Mike Weber came in, and the coaching staff in its entirety, along with probably Al McInnes and other people, I don't know that to be true, but any good coaching staff has a lot of ears and eyeballs on the situation to offer any kind of expertise. I bet they sat down and said, okay, how can we tweak our system? I know that Weber said, hey, we did play a bit of a different system, in Rochester where he was coaching before, and it seemed to work pretty good. And so there you go. You're building your defensive zone coverage and your defensive system throughout the entire game. And so Jordan Binnington now, well, he's added a very valuable piece to that defensive system. Because the goalie, when he doesn't let goals in, that helps. It helps. It helps a lot.
In what ways?
Well, helps keep you in the game. That's for sure. And although he hasn't had 2 shutouts, he's only given up 2 goals in 2 games. He's been spectacular. So how long can he keep this up is the original question.
Yeah. 82-plus games.
I think he can keep it up all season. I really do. Like, he's not getting absolutely pulverized with 45, 50 shots a night. And what you have to look at is the number of dangerous chances against the grade A chances. That number has gone down significantly from where it was on an average last season. So all that means is that your goaltender's not as stressed in the crease, and he's not stressed with the volume of those grade A opportunities. So if you give Jordan Binnington clean looks at pucks, like, that's one thing I will say about being down between the benches is a lot of times I get a very perfect look at what the goaltender is seeing and what he's not seeing. And the Blues have done a good job of creating a lane for the opposition when they're shooting, creating a lane, meaning blocking out other guys from getting to the front of the net. I don't mean like parting of the Red Sea where, hey, go ahead, shoot on my goalie. No, but you get one guy that fronts the puck. If he gets it, great. If he misses it, at least there's not 2 or 3 bodies lingering around the net to deflect the puck or maybe get a rebound goal. And Jordan Binnington is seeing the puck very well, and the pucks are dying when they get to him. And all that means is they're not bouncing off of him to create secondary chances. It's been amazing. They're hitting him, and he's either catching it or they just drop to a non-dangerous spot, and he's freezing the puck, or he's redirecting it towards the corners, which we know are a non-dangerous area as well. So overall, it's working right now. I know there's a few texters out here where it's like, well, you know what? If it keeps going like this, the dam's going to break at some point. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Go back a couple of years ago. Go back to when Ken Hitchcock was here. The Blues played a similar-ish system, and the dam never really broke. Did a good job of playing strong defensively. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights last year. This is pretty much identical to the way they played. They have some big oak trees on defense, which makes it a little bit easier. But so far, I'm noticing from the Blues that all of their guys, including smaller guys like Torrey Krug, are showing the willingness to battle. And you don't have to be perfect with boxing guys out. It doesn't have to be like you take the guy like an offensive lineman and drill him all the way over to the corner and like clear the lane. Yeah. You just have to make sure that they can't get a great opportunity. So you get sticks and you get bodies. Make your goaltender's job a little easier. And I think that if the quality of shots stay the same as they are right now for Jordan Binnington, I think he can keep it up.
We talk about that this might be the way the Blues have to win games. What happens when there's a few mistakes? Maybe a puck doesn't get out of the zone, and a certain team that they're playing ends up scoring maybe 3 goals a night instead of 1 or 2. How does this offense respond if this is the way they're supposed to play and win these tight games, tight, low-scoring games that the offense can't produce?
Yeah, and I didn't specify tight, low-scoring games. I specified tight games.
Okay.
So, and I understand the concern right now from Blues fans regarding the offense, and I know that what you're alluding to, Marshy, is if you can't outscore your opponent, like, what are we going to do here? Because there will be nights where it's 3 goals or 4 goals that go in. It's inevitable.
Sure. And Joel Hofer is going to step in at some point,
and Jordan Binnington is not going to continue with a .970 save percentage all season. I'd like it, but he's not. It's just not going to be that way. So what happens in those moments? This team will score goals. There is offense there, and you can see that they're generating certain chances right now. Kyrou and Thomas are going to get more comfortable, trying to create more offense out there. So I do feel like there's more in the tank offensively for this team. I don't feel like it's a team that has to win every game 1-0 or 2-1.
Sure.
I do think they will score goals. Fixing their power play problems will certainly help in that department. If you can get a goal a game on a power play, that's obviously a great thing. So yeah, I do understand the concern, but the flip side of all that, or to add on to that, Marshy, this team's going to have to be geared that way to where you can't give up 3. Like, we just can't. Yeah. If we give up 3, we're in one here. Because maybe we don't have the horses to go back and forth with an Edmonton or a Colorado or even a Dallas for that matter. Look at the way you had to play Dallas to keep that low-scoring game.
It's like Jair Alexander saying, we just can't give up touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be in if you're a defense. We just can't give up touchdowns. That's the key.
T-shirts available now.
Yeah, no kidding. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got Narrative or Reality next. If you need a new ride like we do in the Stalter household, head down to Auto Center's Nissan Herculean. That's where we're going to head to. You can look at some of their savings that they have throughout the course of October. They've got great deals going on right now in this month. But what I want to talk to you about is what happens when you purchase from Auto Center's Nissan Herculean. First of all, they're going to give you financing options. They have financing options for everyone that heads out to Auto Centers. Whether you have good credit or bad credit, they're going to take care of you because they have the best financing department that I've seen in a dealership. They also have over 700 vehicles on the lot. We're talking about new Nissans and pre-owned. Any make, model, they've got it. If you're looking for SUVs or vans or, trucks or you're looking for sports cars, again, they got it at Auto Centers Nissan Herculean. They also give you a 30-day return promise within 30 days. If you need to bring the vehicle back for whatever reason, maybe, the color isn't right, the size when you got it home, or like, you know what, too big for the garage, or whatever it may be, you can bring it back within those 30 days, and they give you a refund. When it comes to Auto Centers Nissan Herculean, they also hook you up with that complimentary lifetime warranty on all new Nissans. Best service, best sales, best everything. It's Auto Centers Nissan, Herculaneum.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues picked up their first win of the year on Saturday in their home opener against the Seattle Kraken. A 2-1 victory in a shootout. Jordan Binnington to start the year has stopped 63 of 65 shots. We talked about him earlier in the show, and we just got done talking about Jordan Binnington. So if you've missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Tonight, we have Monday Night Football. It's the Cowboys taking on the Chargers to end Week 6 of the NFL season. 6:30 pregame show. Before that, we'll have our Blues Instant Replay, so stick around after the Fast Lane. Coming up next, we have Narrative or Reality. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Time to play Narrative or Reality here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and here's Andrew Marsh.
All right, guys, we just got done talking about Jordan Binnington and whether or not he can keep this streak going of him just being an absolute warrior out there on the ice for the Blues. Narrative or reality, though, Joel Hofer will not be able to save the Blues bacon like Binnington has so far.
What do you mean, save their bacon? What's he got to save their bacon for?
Have you not seen these players blocking shots there, Marsh?
I have.
That's hot garbage. Is that what we're playing?
We're at the wrong game.
No,
Okay.
different game, but I like where your head's at, Anthony. No, that's a narrative, by the way. Look, at Joel Hofer it's a quality netminder, man. Watching this kid, too, he's huge. He is big. I mean, he walks by in the goalie gear, and I'm looking at him like, my God, where do you shoot the puck on this guy? And
Behind him.
You try, for sure. But he's very solid, too. He's actually very much like Jordan Binnington. It's weird because most of the time your goalies are different in certain ways. Sometimes you like it that way, so it's a different look for a different team. This is a different look because Hofer's just physically bigger than Jordan Binnington is, but he handles the puck very well. Limited movements in the crease. Now, some of that might be because he's so big, he doesn't have to move as much.
Sure.
But no, this is a really talented goalie, and he's going to be just fine. I'm not worried about Joel Hofer at all. The Blues certainly know what they've got, and they wouldn't have given him the one-way deal and basically last year guaranteeing he's going to be the backup this year if they weren't confident in him. And there's nothing so far that leads me to believe that you'd have to be worried about Joel Hofer.
Yeah.
Narrative or reality, Caleb Williams is playing his way out of the top spot for the NFL draft.
No, that's a narrative. I don't think he's playing his way out of the top spot in the NFL draft. I think he is playing his way out of the Heisman, though. I mean, when you see what Penix is doing and you see even Bo Nix in a losing effort did against Washington, I think it's going to be tougher now to go back-to-back in the Heisman. But when it comes to just watch a Sunday like yesterday, Jamie, with how many bad decisions are being made at the quarterback position, there's going to be plenty of desperate teams, just like there always is in the NFL. And you don't even have to be desperate to like Caleb Williams. I'm just saying there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, and there will be half the league might need a quarterback when it's all said and done. He's still going to be the number one overall pick.
You think? Number one? You think he's guaranteed the number one pick?
Nothing's guaranteed, but I think that's as close to a guarantee as you're going to see.
Like, I think, for me, in my head, I think, okay, he's guaranteed to be a top 3 pick. And I don't think he's slid so far down the food chain here that he's going to fall out of, like, the number one spot. I just wonder, like, what if it doesn't get better? What if it stays kind of the way it is for the rest of the season? You still think he's a guaranteed number one pick?
I mean, if the wheels really fall off, no.
Okay.
I think at that point, then maybe he goes. And I can't remember if Josh Allen was like a slam dunk number one overall pick at one point, but he was regarded as like, okay, this guy's going to be top 3 at the least. And then he had a bad season at Wyoming, and you're like, okay, could he fall to the top 10? And he didn't. He fell, I think, to 7th to Buffalo. So it might be a situation like that. There's no way that Caleb Williams falls out of the top 10. Zero chance. Could he fall out of the top 5? Maybe. But I still think the money's on him going number one overall.
All right.
Narrative or reality? This is the most boring Major League Baseball postseason in the last 10 years.
Oh, I'd say, for me,
I think that's
tough
a
because
narrative.
I feel like the Phillies are exciting to watch.
So you had that Braves-Phillies series, that Braves-Phillies game with the great ending. Arizona, the underdog, has even when the underdog wins, even if the underdog blows them out, you still hang because you think that the favorite is going to come back. So in this case, the Brewers or the Dodgers especially, right? So that is somewhat exciting. I thought last night's game was thrilling. I mean, what Evan Carter did with a catch, with the game hanging in the balance there. Jordan Montgomery pitched his rear end off. Justin Verlander had a couple of hiccups, but otherwise was great. I mean, he was excellent. So in a 2-0 game that felt like at any point the Astros could potentially get back in it with a couple of big hits. I think that was exciting. I don't think it's boring. I do not think it's been boring. No, I'm going to say narrative on that.
I'll go with that too.
Even with the overall outlook of the postseason? with the sweeps.
So like the sweeps and everything like that. From that standpoint, you might have an argument, but I still think the games have been compelling.
Before we move on to the next one, what would you rather have? Would you rather have really tight games? However, let's say a team sweeps the other team or they win 3-1.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a tight series and the games be blowouts?
I would rather have
because
the tight games.
That's somewhat what I felt like, other than maybe a few games. If we go back to the 2019 Stanley Cup Final, a lot of those games, except for maybe like 2 of them, were somewhat not really close. Like you had the Bruins, two of the games in St. Louis, the Bruins blew out the Blues.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously you had the overtime game that was really exciting. But even Game 7, like it was exciting for us Blues fans, but I think for overall hockey fans, that was what, a 4-1 game?
Yeah, I'd rather have tight games. Like even this one right now, it's 5-1. The Rangers are up on the Astros in the bottom of the third. It's still early enough, and the Astros are still good enough where you're like, okay, I could see them mounting a comeback in this. This gets to like 8-1, forget it. Now we're not interested. I'd rather have it a series that even if it's lopsided for the series, it's not lopsided in games.
Narrative or reality from the 314. Football is getting soft with all the penalties in favor of the offense.
I don't know how you could call football soft when Devontae Adams takes a pop like he did yesterday in that game, or you see some of the hits that are still being dished out. I understand the thought process, though, of like offense is benefiting from the penalties. This season, though, I mean, look, I read off all the scores yesterday. All the scores are low scoring right now. I mean, this has been a low scoring league thus far. Low scoring season, I should say. But soft and football can't go together. You know, it's kind of like soft and hockey. You can't put the two together. If you're willing to absorb
any
a frozen piece of rubber at 100 miles an hour right to the sternum, I'm sorry, you're a tough dude.
Try telling Piddles that.
Oh, don't. I'm not even giving this. No.
I asked you guys earlier what happened. I walked in the office and you guys.
No.
There was a weird vibe. So and I feel like our guy Action Jackson got dressed down.
No, I don't even want to give this life. Piddles has brought up the dumbest thing ever.
Okay, so that is Action Jackson of the Balloon Party.
He did say, disclaimer, he did say he was trolling. So I don't think he actually believes
but no,
this.
then he backed it up with things he really thought, which then that's when I was just done. That's when I was like, you can just leave. Just go. He said that he thinks hockey players are soft because they can only take 90-second shifts, which, by the way, you don't even take a 90-second shift. He's like, well, basketball guys play the whole game. I'm like, you see, Anthony, like, you see where I'm going. I'm not even going to give this life because I said to him very frankly, I said, like, I understand, and no matter what I tell you, you're going to have something to tell me in retort, right?
Yeah, right.
But the bottom line is that you've never played a single shift of hockey in your life. You don't know how hard it is. You don't know how exhausting it is. So no matter what I tell you, you will never understand.
That makes sense.
So,
yeah.
You know, he's not wrong because he doesn't, what you don't know, you don't know.
Sure.
But what I do know, like, I've played basketball, played high school basketball, played high school football, every sport. You bring it, I've played it. Nothing is as exhausting as playing a shift in the NHL.
I believe that.
It's the bottom line.
Plus, basketball players, they play.
Well, there's a whistle every 10 seconds.
And they walk around the court.
They play all game, but then they need like 3 days off.
Yeah, load management.
Load management. So.
You really got them with that one.
I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like if you're talking about college basketball, they, granted they're student athletes, but they play what, two times a week, right? So there's that. Hockey? Yeah.
The 314 says, damn, soccer players go 90 minutes. Must be the toughest. LOL.
I will say this about soccer players. Their endurance is incredible. I watch my daughter play, and she's only 14, and she plays good for her. She usually has played the whole game.
Nice.
And now there are times whatever position you play where there's not a lot of action. Like my daughter's a forward, and so there's times where when the ball's down low, like she's just standing, like walking around, waiting, walking. Like she's never just standing, but it's not always full tilt.
My thing would be like, I need some water. Like, can I run by the bench real quick and just grab a swig of water?
Yeah.
I never see that.
Like the marathon. Like you got your other players holding out like a water bottle where you run by, squirt, throw it back.
Right.
Now, I know the goalkeepers, they have waters in the net, but no, they don't. But
yeah.
I wonder if some of the players maybe we could have the text line chime in on this, if there's some water next to like the net, so if they need to run back for whatever reason, they can just get a quick squirt and then keep playing. But I've never really paid attention to that enough to where I've seen
I haven't either.
Players drinking water on the field. I'm like, how do they do this?
Good point. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to Sports Six Pack next. 314-399-9646 to the Air Coverage Service tax line. By the way, Cody from Fenton won the tickets for the Blues ticket giveaway, and we are going to be giving out tickets for the next couple of days for that Penguins and Blues game. But Jamie had asked which player on the Blues roster, Stanley Cup champion, was born and raised in Pittsburgh. Correct answer is
Brandon Saad.
So Cody knew that, and he was also the 101st texter. So Cody is going to go see his Blues take on the Penguins. Again, the Sports Six Pack is next in the Fast Lane. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, our guy Stewie's on the line right now. And Stewie, we wanted to talk to you about purchasing a home. We know that when it comes to purchasing a home, you always want a great rate on your loan. But you also have other ideas when it comes to if you're a couple and maybe you want to take advantage of certain things that you don't know about when it comes to getting a better rate.
Anthony, the government made the rules and the playing field different. In May, they said if you're making too much money, you have to pay a higher rate than those that are making less money than you are. They're going to get a better rate. You're going to get a worse rate. That's terrible, not fair. So there's a little loophole that you can get around to get by this. If we have a couple, which we just closed this morning from an ESPN listener story, you have a couple and two people making too much money together, you can ignore the second person's income as long as they qualify. And since that income or that person's income is under the threshold, be eligible for the better rate. So sometimes you just have to be creative. Sometimes you have to take that person off the loan and just keep one person on the loan. Either way, that's how you get around it there. You just have to know the creative ways of doing it. That's what makes my job fun, is figuring out a way to give you the best deal.
This is exactly why you need to call Stewie. Stewie's excited. He found a loophole, and he's always excited to help you save money. That's the main thing. Stewie wants you to make sure that you're taking care of that old-school customer service. Stewie's our guy. He needs to be your guy, and he needs to be your first call. That number to give him a call is 314-324-4440.
Again, that number is 314-324-4440.
If you can't remember that number, you can always Google the bagel loan.
Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
All right, time for the Sports Six-Pack. If you got a question for us, 314-399-9646 of the Air Comfort Service text line with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions.
Question number 1.
We got a question from the 636 earlier today. We were talking about Killian running a touchdown, 40 yards in his flag football game this weekend. We got a question. Anthony, do you have the annexation of Puerto Rico in the playbook?
I did, and then I had to take it out.
Why?
Against the rules.
What?
Yep. There's some rules for centers. Yeah, I had a whole offense ready to go.
You had to throw the whole playbook out?
Had a whole playbook. Wow. Probably should have read the rules before putting the playbook together, but I was so excited.
I say you just ignore the rules.
That's true. I mean, they kind of let us do whatever we want since it's kindergarten and pre-K.
They're going to call the league on you, 5-year-olds?
Right.
Ruin their fun?
Anthony, you are the league.
Yeah.
Literally.
True. Yeah. The pre-K and the K league. That's right. Yeah, that's a good point, Marsh. I should do that. Like, you know what? We're going full O-line and D-line. Let's go. What about player safety? They're fine. Got plenty of years to
build character.
You know what? Actually, I should probably just stick to the rules.
Well, at least the oop-de-oop is still a play.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they don't know how to run it yet.
They'll figure it out.
We've got 2 more practices to figure it out, so, yeah.
I'm looking forward to
I want you to run
it,
Anthony, and videotape it to where you have every kid lined up wide on one side and then your fastest kid over on the other side. The oop-de-oop.
And he just throws it all to him.
And I want your quarterback, like, at the snap to just yell, oop-de-oop.
Okay. I can get that done.
Come on, this can be hilarious. The parents would be like, what on earth?
What are we doing?
What in the name is the oop-de-oop?
Oop-de-oop. I didn't see the circus come to town.
I saw a play, a video on Twitter this weekend, and it was a high school team. I couldn't tell you where it was, but it was a trick play, and it was a hook and ladder, except for, like, when you typically think of a hook and ladder, they're throwing the ball, like, pretty downfield, and the wide receiver that's running down there as well will end up, crossing. They'll throw the hook and ladder. But this specific play, I think the wide receiver out wide ran about 5 or 10 yards, maybe. Quick throw to the right side of the field, and then they had a running back swinging wide as like a in the flat or whatever. And that running back ended up being the guy that they pitched it to. And so when they pitched it to him, he ended up just jetting down the sidelines and scoring for a touchdown.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen that specific version of the hook and ladder, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Did you see what the Chiefs did on Thursday night when Travis Kelce caught the ball and did the quick lateral for a first down? I forgot who he pitched it to, but I don't know if that was by design or Kelce just did.
I would imagine it would have to be by design. Otherwise, that guy may not be ready for the football.
Yeah.
Fumble. You think that Reggie Bush lateral was by design? I don't think so.
Depends on which team you're rooting for.
Yeah.
That night there, Marsh.
Question number 2.
From the 618, serious question for Jamie. How does insurance play into these huge contracts when injuries come into play?
Well, I don't know all the specifics behind it, and I can tell you that there's probably many things that I'll forget or omit in this, so please don't take what I'm about to say as actual legal documentation as to how it works. But
Anthony, you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm
lawyer.
But it basically works to where if you have a player that's missing a certain amount of time that makes, a certain amount of money, I think you can only insure certain contracts on your roster. And that by default, you obviously insure the most expensive contracts. And then when the player qualifies for that, the insurance will help pay for some of that salary, so you get a little bit of relief from it. That's the bare bones explanation of it. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I've never laid eyes on the actual documentation, but that's as much as I know right there.
Question number 3.
From the 636, we were talking about Aaron Nola earlier in the show, about him wanting an 8-year contract. That was before the season started, and the Phillies decided not to sign that. And, of course, now he will be a free agent this upcoming offseason. But from the 636, could teams go incentive-based where they get less money for not having 160 innings or something like that? So pitchers not getting their money if they don't hit a certain amount of innings pitched.
I mean, you could certainly try it.
Good luck.
Yeah, I think when it comes to incentive-laden contracts, those are usually handed out to guys that are older and or coming off injury, and it's a way for them to capitalize and get more money than they thought they would on the open market, but they're going to have to kind of earn it. I mean, think of Waino. Didn't Waino sign an incentive-laden deal a couple of years ago when he only got like $5 million or something like that? It could go up to 10, whatever it was. That's usually the situation.
And he hit almost every one of his markers. So
yeah.
That is the way they do. That's how they Trojan horse paying you more.
Right.
And that's usually in a guy's coming off a tough year as far as injuries are concerned, or a guy that's older. Mm-hmm. You do this to protect yourself. So if the player doesn't play well or is injured, you're not footing the bill.
Right.
But on your offer, your contract is certainly more attractive with the possibility of earning more. Where maybe the market is $5 million for said player. You can get up to $10 million if you hit these mile markers.
Yep.
That's a good way to do it. Then all of a sudden, contracts side by side. Well, I'm guaranteed $5 million, or I'm guaranteed $5 million plus whatever I can do in these other things.
Sure. It is usually not offered to guys like Nola, who will have no problem establishing a market.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't even think he'll read that contract.
No.
Question number 4.
From the 314, going against the grain usually works. So why don't the Cards go back to old-style baseball and compete with new age baseball and see how it goes?
I don't hate that idea, but
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, and yeah, I think they're kind of. I mean, you'd have to define it, right? You have to define what you mean by going against the grain.
Guy gets on first base, bunt him over, 1 out, runner on second.
Yeah, so they'd have to go against a lot of the data that they've acquired.
Slug, baby, slug would have to go bye-bye.
Sure. Yeah.
But, if you're going to play small ball, you have to have good run suppression. Uh-huh. That's the problem with this team is that they had terrible run suppression this year, so they always had to rely on big hits, getting guys on base, and hoping for an extra base hit to drive in multiple runs at a time.
Sure.
Because that's why we didn't see a ton of stolen bases this year from the Cardinals. They have fast players if they get on base. Why aren't they stealing here, or why aren't they doing this?
Sure.
It's because you're down by 6 runs. You can't really do that. You have to have multiple guys on base, and you can't just give away outs, essentially.
Yeah,
but if it's a close game, like we see in the postseason, you'll see teams lay down bunts because every run matters.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, I don't mind. I guess I don't mind the overall idea of zigging while everybody else is zagging. Maybe you do it in a way that you emphasize more in terms of roster building. Instead of slugging, you're going to go more speed, or you're going to go defense. But then you got to kind of understand that that's the way you're going to play things, and you may win games more, 3-2. and you don't have those eye-popping offensive numbers. As fans, you're going to be okay with that. I think if you win, they will be. But if you lose, then all of a sudden it's like, well, you've got no home runs. You've got no pop. You've got no this. I'm just using one example. Mm-hmm. So if you do go the other way, again, you better be pretty clear about how you're doing it, because you're going to look like a fool that goes against league and industry trends that have worked for other teams. They just haven't worked for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I wonder if the Cardinals are already zagging. Like, they haven't actually caught up to the times now. Like, we've talked about briefly about the pitching labs and whatnot. They don't have that, right? So maybe they're already behind in that sense, and they have not caught up. So they're zagging when everyone's zigging, or whatever you want to call it, and they're actually behind and it's not working. So they need to get back up to speed with the other teams. Maybe that's already happening.
Absolutely.
Question number 5.
We'll make this quick, but from the 314, can I throw us back to a conversation a few weeks ago about the most delusional fan bases in sports?
Sure.
Because without a doubt, it belongs to the New England fans for thinking Bill Belichick is a good head football coach.
He is.
Yeah, I mean,
he's fallen on tough times, but he is.
He's still a good football coach. The problem is he may not be a very good GM.
I think that's a fair statement.
What Bill was able to get away with a long time ago and uncover gems for cheaper prices and players taking less to have a better team, those times are gone right now. Quite honestly, I said it last week. I say it again. The Patriots would be smart to bring in somebody to work alongside Bill Belichick and take some of that roster construction out of his hands.
Yeah, good
and
call.
Just let him coach.
Good call. All right, we've got what's trending next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking to purchase a brand new vehicle or pre-owned vehicle, please head over to Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. The family has been in business for over 80 years, providing exceptional customer service to the St. Louis community and great prices as well. They've got 2 locations available for you now. The original location right there in Florissant, Missouri. We know where that is. It's been there forever. And they got the brand new Londoff Autoplex. That's located out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. Both locations have fantastic inventory. Also have state-of-the-art service centers for you, so they make sure that they take care of your vehicle for you as well. And the prices are fantastic. Johnny Londoff always competitive with his prices. One thing that they're not competitive with is giving people a hard time. That's right. They're there to help you get to the finish line with your vehicle, make your buying experience the most pleasant possible, and make sure you come back over and over again. I've been a customer for over 20 years, just purchased another vehicle from Londoff Chevrolet a couple weeks ago, and I absolutely loved the vehicle, and I absolutely loved my time with the representatives over there. So please get by there in person, say hi to them, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. If you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
what's going on in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered with what's trending now.
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a Lion's Choice sandwich coupon.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, college hoops is about to get underway here soon. Of course, we have college football going on right now. The NHL just got underway. NBA starting up as well here soon. But college basketball has their number one team heading into the year, and it's the Kansas Jayhawks. They earned 46 of the 63 first-place votes, and they outdistanced Duke and Purdue pretty heavily. It's the third time that Bill Self has his team as the number one team heading into the year, and the first time since the 2018-2019 season.
Yeah, so they had to...
Rock, Jayhawk.
You dirty.
I have to do it because...
Why?
Well, Ashley, my girlfriend's from Kansas.
How does that work, though, with you being a Mizzou guy?
Right, you paid for a wing at Mizzou.
I did. So the way it works is I'm allowed to cheer for both teams, except for well, Anthony, you know how this works, right? I mean, you've got Kristen. There's just certain things you have to do in life, and I'm allowed to cheer for both teams, unless they're playing head to head. When they're playing head to head, it's MIZZOU.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for laying out those rules for us.
Yeah. Well, she also, though, in fairness to Ashley, she also knows how to play the game, too, because when we went to Mizzou together and went to the bookstore,
she got herself a tiger.
She purchased a Mizzou sweatshirt.
Okay. Well, good.
My daughter may have forced her to purchase it and put it on and then take a picture of her wearing it.
Details.
But you know what? It was sacrifice, right? So, Rock Jock Jayhawk. Except for when you play MIZZOU.
Jamie, that's just very conflicted, even describing that. So the Jayhawks, very disappointing follow-up to their national championship title. They lost to Texas in the Big 12 championship game, then fell to Arkansas in the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. But I think the key for Kansas here is they're returning three starters. You got McCullough, you got Harris, and then you got Adams. They're all returning. So I think that's the key for them. And if you look at the top 25, you will see at least one local team, that being Illinois at 25. I'm really looking forward to Mizzou's season, though. After what they did last year, I'm really looking to see what they do building off of Dennis Gates' success last year.
He's got quite a bit of momentum this year going with that program.
Yeah, he does. Heck yeah, he does.
A great recruiting class, all that. I mean, should be exciting.
Agreed.
Be a lot of fun if the football and basketball team both had good seasons.
Hey, man.
Be awesome.
Jamie sent me this, and this is funny. This is about the
I can't remember now.
Yeah, well, this one's about the Diamondbacks.
Okay.
They're piping in generic crowd noise for their workout today in Philly, and I guess they have the one guy, I guess, in this crowd noise saying, "You stink! You stink! Nola's gonna destroy you tonight." And in this article, the writer says that's probably not how it's going to go tonight.
No.
You're going to have fourth graders telling them to go blank themselves and flipping them the double bird salute.
Exactly why I said it to Marcia. I'm like, who in Philadelphia, from a newborn till the day they pass, says you stink?
You stink. No,
it's going to be blank you, your mother, your brother, your whatever.
Everything.
You are going to be absolutely verbally accosted.
Yes.
And then you're going to look over and see it's a 6-year-old.
Yes. and the parents are going to be like proud and clapping. That's my boy.
I do think it's interesting that they practiced with that noise. Like, I could see football teams, their offense running through some stuff with the noise piped in. I don't really understand why you'd have to do that for baseball.
Yeah, especially when it's not realistic.
But what are you doing? The pitcher's not calling an audible out there. Hey, Omaha!
Right.
Like, what are we doing here?
It's almost worse, right? Because then for example, if you're in the outfield and you go to the outfield and you're used to, hey, we prepared for this. I know these guys are going to tell me I stink. And then you go out to the outfield and they try to take your soul. It's almost worse. You're thinking to yourself, I thought I only stunk. But no, apparently my whole family stinks.
They should pipe this in.
That guy sucks. Yeah.
Oh, that would be good. That would hurt some feelings.
That certainly would.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I think the Diamondbacks are going to be just fine.
Jamie, you mentioned that you sent me two things. That was the first one. The second one, we talked about Jake Moody, who is the kicker for the 49ers. Missed the field goal to ultimately keep them undefeated or undebeated, as you would say, Anthony. Apparently,
made my own word.
Jake Moody's entire family made the trip to Cleveland just to see him miss the game-winning field goal.
Oh, no. Really?
On Twitter, there's a picture, like pre-game. He's standing over, and they're all huddled around him, and they're like posing for a big, beautiful family picture, which is, it's an awesome moment for him. He's a rookie, all that stuff. Proceeds to go on and miss 2 field goals, including the game-winning field goal. I guess maybe it's good to have your family there. They're probably the only ones that'll talk to you after that.
That's a good call, yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Mom can, help you out with some of your depression.
The crying. I saw that. I was like, my stomach sunk. I was like, I felt so bad for him.
Who's your son? Oh, he's a kicker.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, well, he stinks.
Tough. Yeah, he'll be fine. Better days are ahead for that kid. I don't know if they are or not.
Did you hear about
the roster?
This was a while ago, but the story of Jonathan Whites, I think that's his name. He was the kicker for Clemson, who got brought in. I think he used to play for the team, but then went off to grad school or something, and then they needed a kicker. They brought him back. And then he was the guy that missed the field goal against Florida State.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, his whole family was there, too. And on that broadcast, they just kept showing him and showing him.
Yeah.
And they said, at the time, they said, this could be, I think it was Greg McElroy who was on the call. He was one of the color commentators. And they mentioned it being like a Hollywood moment for him to kick the game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
And I believe Sean McDonough was also on the call. And at the time, he missed the field goal. And he said, the writers are on strike right now.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
But that reminded me of the Clemson kicker when he missed the field goal against Florida State.
This is why Adam Sandler once wrote a song called The Lonesome Kicker. If you remember that.
No, I don't. But
you don't remember The Lonesome Kicker?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Well,
what's it about?
Go to hell. It's about a lonesome kicker.
Is it as good of a story as the puppy who lost his way?
It's better.
Really?
Yeah, it's more gripping. Yeah. Give it a listen. And when you have an opportunity, give it a listen. It'll shake you right to the core. Is that it, Marsh?
I think that's it.
That's what you got for What's Trending?
That is What's Trending.
Let's talk about Parayko. And let's talk about the one player that Jamie earlier today said, dude played a hell of a game. I don't know if you actually said that, but I know you're really high in this player right now. We'll get to that next on 101 ESPN.
If you're in the market for replacement windows, please go see my friends over at Window World, the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. One thing that you probably didn't know is that Window World is one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. What makes their windows so good, you ask? Well, let me tell you. John Gillette, one of the owners, brought me into the back of the warehouse and put a window on the ground and told me to stand on it, which I thought was crazy. But I did it anyways. I stood on the window, and then he says, hey, why don't you jump up and down just a little bit? And I did. and the window did not break. That's the kind of quality you're getting with the Window World window that you don't get in some of those other aftermarket windows. And what that means is obviously durability is fantastic, but it's efficiency too. Keeps the hot or the cold out when you need it to, and that way you're not spending a whole bunch of money on air conditioning or heating throughout the winter. So please get over to the showroom, visit them, tell them I said hi, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. But if you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at windowworld.com.
Kraken cleared up, create another 2-on-1. Everly in, stretching down to break up the play. Sliding play, Parayko.
Well, it was actually a 3-on-1. He nullified not only the pass across, but then the rebound chance there. What a heck of a play there. Keep an eye on that one as this game's still 1-1.
That was Joey Vitale and Chris Kerber on the call Saturday night as the Blues defeated the Kraken 2-1 in a shootout with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, Fastline on 101 ESPN. Colton Parayko, Jamie, he's always a lightning rod of conversation when
Why
it
do you
comes
say
to
that?
Blues and their fans.
Why do you say that, Anthony?
Well, I don't know where you want to start. Fans don't love the size to dishing out the punishment ratio.
Yeah.
He unfortunately wasn't born as a clone of Chris Pronger, and some fans have held that against him.
Yeah.
Doug Armstrong once called him the alpha.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
A lot working against him. Still a good player, though.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Right now, defensively, he is an alpha dog for the St. Louis Blues. He's been great. And if you didn't like Colton Parayko last year, or you know, whatever your thoughts were, your opinion, I get it. It was a tough year. It was a tough year for everybody. But, I knew there was a bounce back in there for most of these guys. And Colton Parayko has been that guy. Look at him out there on the ice right now. He's become the one-man breakout again. So 2 hard strides, he's over the blue line, and he's able to get the puck out of the zone. He's joining the attack on the offensive side to create an extra option. Him standing up at the blue lines has been fantastic. Now, some of that is definitely a product of the forwards doing a better job with their back checking, the tracking as they come back into the defensive zone. But I really like what I've seen. He's had good stick out there. He's angling bodies the right way. He played just under 25 minutes the other night. 25 minutes. He had 2 shots on goal, 3 body checks, and 6 block shots.
Wow.
So the next time you want to dog on Colton Parayko, take a look at what you're really looking at. Take a look at how he can play when the circumstances are the way they are. We're good, hardworking forwards, partner in lockstep with him as well, healthy Colton Parayko. I think that we're seeing a different player this year. Now, it's 2 games. I know that, but that's all I have to evaluate on. I mean, if we're going to talk about players, we can only talk about what we have, the information that's available.
Right.
And so far, he has been very good for the Blues, and I don't see it falling off the rails. I really like the way he's playing out there right now.
By the way, Bruce Bochy, this is why this dude's a master when it comes to the postseason. So the Astros are down 5-2 right now against the Rangers, and I believe that was just the bottom of the 5th. They loaded up the bases against Nathan Eovaldi, Jamie. And
no outs.
No outs. And I thought to myself, now's the time to go get Nathan Eovaldi. He's done. He's done all he's could. He's held this dynamic Astros lineup in check. You can go get him now. I'm sure every fan at Minute Maid Park was thinking the same thing. He got 2 strikeouts, including one of Jose Altuve, and got Alex Bregman, one of the more dangerous hitters in the game, to ground out to third. Inning over. Rangers going to the top of the 6th, still up 5-2. Jamie, the other player that I know that you've highlighted a lot here is Alexei Toropchenko. And this guy, he blocked 2 shots the other night. He's playing. He is playing. He is playing very well thus far. Is there a reason, like a specific reason, why you like his game? A certain skill set maybe that fits well with this Blues team, or is he just somebody that, given the ice time that he gets, he's just going to make at least one big play?
Well, it's not even the big plays so much. It's just consistent plays. There are big plays in him. He had a fantastic block the other night against the Kraken, and then he drove the net a couple of times, crashing into the net one time. And just the way he's been playing is exactly what this Blues team needs from everybody. And that's why I like his game so much is there is limitations there offensively for him, which is okay. But when you talk about that blue collar, that identity that this team has to be or has to have in order to be successful, he's one of the guys driving the bus. Like, you've got a handful of guys that can change the momentum of the game with their effort. And Braden Shen, Oscar Sundqvist, Toropchenko, Sammy Blais, like you know who your horses are in that, to where they're going to make a big block, a big hit, like something like that. And Toropchenko's turned into that guy. What's happened too is with his development and the addition of Oscar Sundqvist, you have a 4th line that can play against anybody. Mm-hmm. And I talked to Chief about it. We had him on last week, but I talked about him about it again. Words are tough sometimes.
Hey, it happens.
The other day, just in a regular conversation, just talking to him, and he's like, I have no problem putting him out there. Defensive zone face-off against the other team's top line, I'm fine.
Bring it.
One thing he knows is that they're going to, the effort's going to be there, and they're going to make the safe play. So if they get out there against the other team's top line, Oscar Sundqvist, he's good in the face-off dot. So you win the face-off, you get going. And then they're going to block shots. They're going to play tight defensively. Quite honestly, it might be a better matchup than some of the other lines you have out there. So I'm curious to see how this shakes out now with the injury to Pavel Buchnevich. Mm-hmm. Who goes where? And does Chief tinker with the 4th line? Does he change the chemistry there? Because if you remove one of those guys...
I wouldn't.
But if you do... maybe the trust goes with it, too. Like maybe Chief can't put them out there. Like Alexandrov is a hardworking, good kid, all that stuff. But if you put him in lieu of Toropchenko or Neighbors, do you still have that same confidence for them to play against the other team's top lines? So we'll see. Because Neighbors and Toropchenko in particular, has earned the right to bump up the lineup a little bit. So we'll see if Chief rewards him for that. But yeah, I really like the way he's playing.
I would leave that fourth line intact. I love the way that he's utilizing it.
But then what do you do then? Alexandrov goes higher in the line from the press box to the top 9.
No, well, but yeah, I'd have to shuffle things up a little bit.
Tough call. Or do you go 11-7 like our guy Marshy said to get Perunovic some ice time?
You could do that. I think
then your fourth line's still affected because you're shuffling the guys around. But at least then, as a coach, you can pick who's going to be on
the fourth line. Yeah, I'd probably do it. I'd probably go that route.
I wouldn't be shocked to see 11-7 here.
We'll find out.
Yep.
Hey, we're going to be broadcasting live this Friday from 2 to 6 at River City Casino Hotel as later that evening we have the inaugural Blues Warriors Awards Gala that will be taking place. Enjoy an evening of dinner, drinks, awards, a live auction, and more with our guy Jamie Rivers, Chris Kerber, and along with former Blues Reed Lowe, Cam Jansen, Tony Twist, and more. All going to be there. Tickets for the Blues Warriors Awards Gala are on sale now, supporting Blues Warrior Hockey. So you get all the ticket details at 101ESPN.com. We've got the biggest question of the day. And Marsh, did you tally our whatchamacallit, or do we still have a player?
Dak Prescott left.
You have Dak Prescott tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So we'll see how it all shakes out tonight.
Did you tally to this point? Are we close? Or you're just like, you know what? I'm not even going to do that.
I'm not going to do it until tomorrow.
Fair enough. That's fair.
I don't want to jinx anything.
I got you. All right, biggest question of the day next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking to upgrade your kitchen or your bathroom, maybe you don't know where to go, who to call, who to talk to. Well, let's make it easy for you. Go see my friends at E&B Granite. They're located at 6135 Manchester Avenue. And please tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. Maybe you have a vision for what you're doing and you know exactly what you need. Well, great. The sales representatives are there to help you through the process. But if you're like me or many others, you don't know always what you're looking for because you don't know what's available. Well, the representatives at E&B Granite, they're amazing at their job, and they know exactly what you need for your home, and then they offer you options so that you guys are working together and to create this awesome kitchen or awesome bathroom. As far as countertops are concerned, they've got you covered with everything from granite, quartz, marble, soapstone. They have beautiful, beautiful countertops at E&B Granite, and you get to pick your countertop. You walk down through the back, there's the slabs are there, and you can take a look, and you get a really good idea as to what it might look like in your home. And then the process is simple. They take care of everything. They measure. They take out the old stuff, put in the new stuff. And then, of course, if you have any questions along the way, they're there to help you out. So please get down there, visit them in person, or call 314-645-9300. Book an appointment with them. That's 314-645-9300. Or you can always visit them at enbgranite.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues picked up their first win of the year on Saturday against the Seattle Kraken, a 2-1 victory in a shootout. Jordan Binnington was spectacular once again. So far this season, he stopped 63 of 65 shots. The Blues will take on the Arizona Coyotes on Thursday. You can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starting at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Tonight we have Monday Night Football, Cowboys and Chargers. 6:30 pregame. Before that, we'll have a Blues Instant replay leading you up to Monday Night Football. And right now, the Texas Rangers are currently leading the Houston Astros 5-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning as the Rangers have a 1-0 series lead in the ALCS. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
Time for the biggest question of the day in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Marsh, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Anthony, you just brought it up with the Nathan Uvalde situation. Bases loaded for the Astros, and Bruce Bochy elected not to take him out of the game. We got a text from the 618. Bochy is awesome. How many coaches would have pulled him in that situation?
Well, there's 30 teams in Major League Baseball. So if we remove Bruce Bochy from that list, we get to 29 teams in Major League Baseball. I think 29 managers would have removed Nathan Eovaldi in that situation. Let's go over it again. The Rangers are up 5-2 right now against the Astros. It's in the bottom of the 6th inning. This occurred in the bottom of the 5th. In the bottom of the 5th, the Astros loaded the bases against Nathan Eovaldi. But Eovaldi didn't have, I think he only had like 50 some odd pitches, but it was a bad spot. And we've seen this over and over again in Major League Baseball where he didn't even just get one guy on, it was two guys. And then again, bases loaded, nobody out. Bruce Bochy stuck with Nathan Eovaldi, not just for one batter as he got Diaz to strike out, not just against two batters as he got Jose Altuve to strike out, but he allowed Nathan Eovaldi to face Alex Bregman, the second hitter, the two-hole hitter for Houston and one of the most dangerous hitters in Major League Baseball. And Bregman hit a routine ground ball to third base, and Josh Young threw him out with many feet to spare, getting out of the inning with not a run or a hit, with not a run given up. So how many of you would have done? Yeah, I think a lot of managers would have went to their bullpen in that spot. Instead, Bruce Bochy trusted what he saw, looked at the matchup, still liked him in favor of his starting pitcher, and he stuck with Nathan Eovaldi. So good for him. But Bruce Bochy has had a knack for when to get his starter out, when to bring in a certain reliever in a certain spot. Sometimes he might use analytics, which is just information.
Don't you stick those analytics in my Bruce Bochy's head.
Well, it's data.
What?
Sometimes he'll look at the data and
he does that.
He'll go with it, and sometimes he'll say, you know what? No, screw the data. He's not Kevin Cash in the 2020 World Series.
Or what's his name with the Blue Jays this year?
Yeah, Gibbons. Or no, it's not Gibbons these days. Who's the Blue Jays manager?
I don't know.
Not going to work here anymore.
He still has a job. Even though they sewered him, the GM
Schneider.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. I think a lot of managers would have got him out in that situation. And maybe this speaks to, the text that we got earlier about the Cardinals. If everybody's doing it a certain way, if the league has become homogenized, where each and every team are looking at analytics the same way, at what point do you, as the Cardinals, or any team for that matter, say, how can we now tweak this? I see this done in every other sport, especially in football. And before Bill Belichick went sideways here with the Patriots, and it's not just because of Tom Brady, but when you look at what Bill Belichick did throughout the years with the Patriots, Jamie, he would look at it and say, okay, everybody now is throwing the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't I go double tight, run the ball, and attack the middle of the field? And he did that for a little bit. He was actually ahead of the spread. Mike Martz really did it in 1999. But the league had not really spread everything out yet. And then when the Patriots did it in 2007, when they had Randy Moss and that high-flying offense, then you started to see more teams get on board with it. But why can't you do that in baseball? It'd have to be a little different. Obviously, there's not offensive and defensive systems that you can kind of adjust to.
Yeah.
But if the league has gone too much with analytics and only relying on the data, what can you do to counter that? I don't know what the answer is right now. But there's got to be something that you could throw a wrench in the works and have it work out to your benefit.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just being a proper evaluator of the moment. I think that's what it is. You call it a gut feeling, call it experience, call it whatever.
Yeah.
You've got the numbers that bear out one scenario, and you've got another scenario in your head that you've already played out. Which one are you going with?
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you going? And it might be a mix of them. You might have a situation that you're like, you know what? I kind of have a gut feeling, but I'm not really sure. Then you go to the analytics, and the analytics either support your gut feeling or they don't.
Yeah.
And then you got a decision to make.
I will say this, though.
You got to have the brass bells to sometimes just make the decision.
Sure. I will say this, though. Weren't the Cardinals already kind of zigging? I mean, when you think of high-powered pitchers, strikeout pitchers, the Cardinals were not that. They went with a bunch of ground ball guys. Keep the ball in the yard. Don't worry about the strikeout. So they kind of did it that way with their starting pitching, as I'm thinking.
But they drug it on too long, though. And with the wrong pitchers.
I mean, maybe the second part of your question applies now. Because that
did last year, too, quite honestly.
There is something to be said for, okay, if everybody's swinging for the fences, get a bunch of guys that, with heavy sinkers that can keep the ball in the yard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to your point, maybe they didn't do it right.
And so the pitching staff, they didn't have the right guys. They certainly didn't pitch to their ability. But then you also have to look at how much of an impact not being able to shift had on the Cardinals. So you're pitching to contact, you get ground balls, but they're finding holes now.
And they're being smoked. That's the other problem.
Yeah, they're getting hit 110 miles an hour off the bat.
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
Ground balls are fine until they're 109 in a gap.
Do you think the Cardinals pitched enough inside this past year?
I don't have the data to answer that question.
Just from watching the game,
available.
It just didn't seem like they went inside enough. And when I think of pitching to contact and, sinker ball hitters, those righty on righty matchups, if you can throw that sinker ball inside, get a guy to get, jam them or something, that'll induce those ground balls. I just feel like the Cardinals never, not that they never did, but anytime I was watching, it just seemed like everything was outside. They're trying to hit the corners, and they're being too cute with it and not just really attacking hitters. And Steven Matz, when he came back to the rotation after being in the bullpen, one of the big things that he credited his success to was just going after batters instead of trying to be too cute around the strike zone. I wonder if that has anything to do with the result that we saw this past season.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, they certainly didn't locate pitches.
No, that's true, too.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Never mind pitching inside. Maybe they were trying, Marshy.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah.
Well, if I hear can't locate one more time, I mean, my God, our guy BT, poor guy had to say, well, you didn't locate that pitch. And then the post game, we couldn't locate pitches.
Yeah.
If you can't locate pitches, how the hell are you going to pitch inside?
I got to get rid of Wilson Contreras then, I guess.
Well, it's his fault for sure. Well, how dare you call middle of the plate? Well, I didn't. I didn't. In fact, I was lined up 3 feet outside the strike zone, and you threw it over the plate.
Yeah, we got a text from the 314.
Center cut.
They tried pitching inside, but they left it over the middle, and it was 400 feet.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, it's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We got criticisms, compliments, and what you missed next here at the Fast Line.
Elevate your performance at Pure Performance, your one-stop shop for all aftermarket accessories. Maybe it's just something small that you're looking to do your vehicle. Maybe it's fender flares, or maybe you want to upgrade the side steps, Nerf bars. How about some lighting kit for your Jeep or your Bronco? Well, they've got other things, too, that go under the hood. They've got computer chips. They've got the cold air intake. They've got exhaust systems, gauges. You name it, they've got it over at Pure Performance. And they've got also the largest showroom in the city, a 25,000 square foot facility. When you get there, walk in, ask for Shelby. Tell her that Jamie Rivers sent you in. She's going to ask you what you're looking to do, and then going to make sure you get taken care of. Once you get everything that you need on your list, she's going to hand you off to the technicians, and they are the best in the business. You're going to show up to pick up your vehicle, and you're going to be amazed at what they have done. So please, for all things tires or aftermarket accessories, go see my friends at Pure Performance. If you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. If you missed anything from today's podcast, you can always download it via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's podcast line there. Actually, you can download it at 101ESPN.com or the 101 ESPN mobile app. That's what I should have said. I only do this every day.
It's okay, Anthony. We still love you.
We talked a lot of Blues today. Talked about Jordan Binnington, whether or not what he's doing is sustainable. Certain aspects, certainly, of the defense is sustainable. Some things that Jamie saw that he's liked over the first 2 games. We talked about the power play. What's one quick fix for that, and how that kind of bleeds into the offense as well. Talked about Jordan Kyrou. And then, of course, the Pavel Buchnevich injury and what we could see Craig Berube and Doug Armstrong do to compensate for that. And Jamie had a good breakdown of Colton Parayko's play, too. We did our NFL Pick'em Challenge recap of the games. We beat the Rizzuto show. It's already final. We don't need the Cowboys or Chargers for tonight, it's a good feeling, boys. We're already at 4-2.
They're no longer undefeated with the new rules.
Baby.
Yes.
So they should be scared. They should be really scared because I'm coming. Like Deion Sanders said before they were bad.
Very true.
I'm coming.
You had a nice bounce back weekend.
Thank you.
Of course, you're still up for being shot potentially.
It'll feel a lot better, though, with a victory under our belt.
3 of those shots, though.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So here's the scenario. It's easy if the Chargers win. If the Chargers win, I get shot tomorrow.
You get it, 3 tomorrow? Or 2?
Be the first time I lost.
No, it can't be.
I appreciate your confidence, but yeah, that's it.
I'm blending last year.
You're blending last year.
Or 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago was terrible.
Where you were ready to just call it quits.
I wasn't ready to quit, no, but I probably should have been ready to quit.
Yeah.
You didn't have a lot going for you that year because that was listen.
What the heck? What don't you will not talk to my partner that way. Ever. Anthony, I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
Jamie. Yeah, that was tough.
Do you not remember when you went in you went to change a pick and you accidentally changed whoever's pick?
Oh, that's right. I was like logged in as a different Anthony or something. It was weird.
You got into one of our listeners' accounts.
Yeah, somehow. That was weird. That's
Some
right.
guy hated you for that.
I flipped his pick, and
You forgot to flip
yours.
pick, but your team won.
Yeah, that was jacked up. Anyways, no, Marsh is up for 3 shots.
Yeah.
I would be up for 1. BT would be up for 3. So far, we've had Carey lose 1 week, we've had Marsh lose 2, and we've had BT lose 2. This is week 6, so we're still waiting on this one. If the Cowboys lose, I'm the only one in the Cowboys tonight. If the Cowboys lose, then I get shot once. If the Chargers lose, it's a tiebreaker situation between me, Marsh, BT, and Carey, because we all did well this week.
We just got, it might be the best text today, from the 636. I hate this show. You guys suck. You know nothing about sports. Your takes are weak and predictable. See you tomorrow at 2.
That is fantastic.
That is amazing. Thank you.
Nice. All right. What do we got for criticisms and compliments outside of that one?
Yeah, well, there's one right there. We got one from the 636. Anthony, you've come a long way with your trivia skills. When you started, you sucked. Your own words.
I did. Yeah, good call on that. That guy sucks.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been really good of late.
It's been good. You know, Anthony, we just take it one gauntlet at a time.
Very true.
And, we have been very difficult recently to deal with for our listeners. So let's try and keep it that way. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Well said, Jamie. Well said. Yeah, thanks for the compliment, Ish.
We're 24 wins in our last 26 opportunities.
Wow. Heck yeah. Either the competition's gotten weaker or we've gotten better. Either way.
And we're a second half team.
Yeah, we are.
We get a text from the 636 in regards to the Blues. I like the Blues strategy this year. Can't blow a lead if you never have a lead.
I mean, those are facts.
True.
You do want to maybe get a lead at some point, though, Jamie, if you're the Blues.
That's the end of the game. Shootout. You get the lead.
All right, I'm in.
We had the conversation about the soccer players and whether or not they drink water during the game or during the match. From the 314, former college soccer player here, you can't step off the pitch, but during a stoppage in play / injury, you can have teammates throw you water bottles.
Is this why they go down so often? Is this why
probably
they,
need
is
some
this why
water.
they flop so that their
might
teammates
be,
can drink?
May have just uncovered the truth
That's
of
a good
soccer.
call.
So a couple questions here, right? So the next time we get Kyle Hebert on, first question is, how do you guys get water? Or when do you drink water? And then is this why you flop? So that you and your teammates can get hydrated.
Yeah, I like the way you phrase that too, because it opens him up. He thinks he's teaching us, and then we kind of hit him with a
left hook.
Yeah.
He'll like it.
Yeah.
Knowing Kyle, he probably will.
He will like that.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a good call.
Let's remember those questions, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
We'd all be diving out there too. You see, you look over at Marsh, and Marshy's needs a water.
He was out the night before.
Yeah.
He wasn't dedicated to the team enough.
Sure.
He's out late dancing.
Or we're all with him, and we all need some water.
Maybe.
If that's the case, I don't know if I'm drinking water as much as I'm drinking Pedialyte.
But either way,
you can't
how you gonna drink?
You can't stop. You can't step off
Stop.
the pitch.
Yeah, you make a great
until
point.
Jamie takes a header.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yep.
From the 636, hey guys, it's Skells. I love listening to you guys and also the NFL breakdowns that have helped me with fantasy football stuff. Also, I'd like to say happy birthday to my buddy Jimmy and would like to give a big blank you, Jimmy. It's all in love.
Okay. Well, boy, we covered a lot of ground there.
Wow. All
yeah,
right.
you're welcome.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
And blank you,
and
Jimmy.
Blank you.
Well, I didn't say that. Don't know Jimmy well enough for that quite yet.
Yeah, I feel like we do. Now that his buddy texted in.
It's a good point. Blank you, Jimmy.
His buddy's doing well in fantasy football now.
All thanks to Anthony.
Well, he said the football coverage, the football
Absolutely.
breakdown. That's all three of us.
Absolutely. Jamie's doing well in the Pick'em Challenge, so maybe we give him the credit.
Absolutely killing
1 week at a time, Anthony.
Absolutely. Yep.
We get a text from the 636. Oh, man, yeah. Great show. Another 11 shift over thanks to 101 ESPN. Thank you, Skull Vikings. Then this texter just elected to dislike his own message or her message. So I don't know if that's a criticism or a compliment.
Well, maybe they realized that they liked it, and they're like, oh, that looks conceited. I'm going to unlike it.
Have you ever liked one of your own things by accident?
No.
I don't know if I have either.
The only time that's appropriate is if you laugh at your own jokes because it just got you.
Yeah.
And you hit the ha-ha button in the group chat?
Yeah, I like that one.
Now, see, that falls in a different category. That falls in the category of liking your own tweet or Facebook page or Instacart.
Well, now you can just bookmark them. Obviously, we had to teach Jamie that. There was a certain thing that he, wanted to read, but didn't necessarily want to like it.
Yeah, because, I peruse things, and then sometimes I want to go back and read them further.
But you didn't know how to
used
do
have
that
to
on X.
You have to like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I like it. What if it's something completely irrational?
Right.
And all of a sudden I like it, and I'd be like, Rivers liked this. It's about beating small children. No, I was reading it. I just wanted to know.
Jamie thinks we should take water from people who need it. Look at the stuff he likes.
We got a text from John Fozaylock. That is John Fozaylock.
Yeah.
Faux meaning not real.
Yeah.
Different
spelling on that.
Just heads up to YouTube in case,
Nice.
we don't want to get knocked again.
Seriously.
For the impersonations. But John Fozaylock says, enjoy watching Zach Gallen tonight, boys.
We will. As he takes on Zach Wheeler in Game 1 of the NLCS between the Arizona Diamondbacks, of all teams, and, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies. You guys got the Diamondbacks in that series, do you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't, Anthony.
They've yet to lose.
I do. I think they're going to win.
No, you don't. You don't believe that.
Yes. No. I saw the Phillies. They're all partying because they won the NLDS. Everyone's going crazy.
They all party, Marsh. Every single team.
No, I know that. But they, the fans are going nuts. I get it. You beat the Braves, who were the quote-unquote best team in baseball. You beat them last year, though. And you know what? It's the NLDS. You haven't won anything yet. Everyone's making a big deal about them winning. I think the Diamondbacks go in there, put their head down, and they get to work.
Smoke them.
No, I don't want to go that far, but
probably sweep them.
No, I want to go that far either.
4-0.
No.
Okay.
No, I do think they win, though. which means they'll probably lose.
No, Marsh, you did call Notre Dame the other day.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. Thank you.
You did.
Thank you.
You got 10 points in the challenge.
You're right.
You could be 11.
Yeah, congratulations, Arizona.
Yeah, there you have it.
It starts right now, or tonight, with Zach Gallen, former Cardinal.
I was going to say we have that game for you, but we don't. We have Chargers and Cowboys.
Yeah, we do.
Pre-game starting at 6:30. So Chargers, Cowboys tonight at 6:30. That's the pregame. Hope everybody had a good time today. We certainly did. For Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Everybody have a nice night. See ya.